Hello, everyone. Oh, it feels weird not having a little avatar. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday stream. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Estani. I'm a variety streamer, art streamer, and voice actress. Sometimes VTuber, but not today because I don't want anything to get in the way of all the amazing art in Beacon Pines, which we are going to be continuing today. Before we get started, let's say hello to Cerrone. Welcome on in. Hey, Teramix. Also, I didn't do my pronouns. Shoot, my pronouns are she, her. It's a new thing that I've been adding to my introductions, and I haven't gotten into the habit of just doing it. Hello, Hat. Welcome on in. Thank you for doing the pronouns redeem, Cerrone. If you feel like it, if you're comfortable with it, please feel free to share your pronouns in chat. You can also type, I'm just going to do it, exclamation point pronouns to get a link to pronouns extension that you can use either in Chrome or Firefox to add your pronouns right next to your username on Twitch and also on the on-screen chat. My pronouns are she, her. Cerrone's are she, her. If you feel like sharing, please do, but don't feel like you have to out yourself or anything. It's all good, whatever you're comfortable with. Also, hydrate. Good idea. We're going to be doing a lot of reading today, Hat. Hello, Sock, who uses she, her pronouns. Welcome on in. All right, I'm going to do a little stretch. I've got my tea. I think we're ready to get started. Just so you all know, this will probably be our second to last stream of Beacon Pines. We will probably finish it next week. And because this has a lot of reading and voice acting, we will probably, well, I say probably, we're only going to stream for about 4 hours today. So that means probably no dinner break, because I'll just get dinner once I'm done streaming. But possibly tea breaks. Where is this? Here it is. Now that we're all warmed up, let's go! Heck yeah. Is it possible to get hired without getting an interview? Yes. Kind of. Well, maybe. I mean, probably. For the job that I'm currently working, I had like a tiny interview and then was like hired pretty much on the spot. So sure. I would say it's not super common, but
A shockwave of cold tore through the room. A bitter, unfathomable chill.
oh no. It's the bad end again.
Before they could react, it encased them in ice. 2 boys, reunited by friendship, only to be cruelly separated by a malevolence beyond reason.
So when last we left off,
And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene. In a silent treehouse turned statuary, in a town brought low by its secrets, sits a pair of friends, alone, together, for the rest of time. The end. No, that can't be the ending. It simply can't. I won't accept it, and I hope you won't either. There are more endings. More possibilities. I can feel it. We are just going to have to sort through them all until we find the one that fits.
so when last we left off, we got frozen to death in a treehouse. I don't even know if I can adequately explain this game. But basically, as you can see, we are in a storybook. We are mostly playing Luca, who is the little jackalope friend, I guess? Little deer, maybe, on the right in that little illustration. And Luca's going through some stuff right now. And as you can see, we have like all of these branches on this branching story. And as we collect, ooh, fight or flight, we could go back here and run away. Interesting. So we're basically collecting actions which we then insert into the story to change the narrative. It's so good. So my background check thing, and they were like, all right, here's the times available for orientation. Make sure to do these before your first day. You should stay vigilant. Yeah. Aw, I'm sorry they're only meh. I want to come back here. So yeah, as you can see, we're collecting these little action cards, and we use them to change the story, which is really cool. So on this branch, I should probably explain, especially if you haven't seen Beacon Pines before. On this branch, our friend Rolo has been kidnapped. And we also shoved a boy into some weird goo. And then this is where the body horror stuff kind of comes in that the kid started to mutate. And so now all of these employees of this new corporation in town are trying to abduct the kid for some reason. We don't know why. Last time we tried to fight, it went badly. Now we're gonna try to run away. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just we haven't unlocked it yet.
Luca drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left: flight. He squinted down the barrel of the mission control defense cannon, aiming it through an opening in the dense tree branches. He looked up with surprise as it struck true and taut.
It's not on another stream and they only had fight available. Yeah, so the way that this game works is that you kind of have to go through all of the bad ends because it will let you collect actions that you can use at other points in the story. So when we did this last time, we also only had fight available, so we did that. It went badly. But now, by going on another branch, we picked up the word flight. So now we get to use that here in the story and see where that takes us. Wow, I can't believe that worked. Hey, Mr. Kerr. We'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm afraid we have places to be. Come on, Iggy. Yo, see ya, Jux. Fine. We know where that leads them. This way, we'll take the tunnels.
Luca and Iggy winced as they sprinted through the thicket. The branches clawed at them, reluctant to give passage. After what felt like a marathon, Luca stopped in his tracks as they reached the clearing. What the? That was all he was able to say before Iggy slammed into his back.
Uh-oh.
The boys tumbled down a steep decline and crashed with a wheezing thud on a surface as hard as ice. In fact, it was ice. Chapter 5. Signs. They stood silently, catching their breath. The sky was like sapphire. With each breath, a plume of steam escaped from Luca's lungs. Let's keep moving. Luca pulled Iggy to his feet as they gazed across a snowy terrain.
I should also mention this is supposed to be the first day of summer. Yeah, it does do some sort of creepy stuff. At some points it does get a little intense, but it mostly has been... I don't know. I found it not too scary, but it might not be okay for you. So obviously, if it gets to be too much, or if it's not the right game for you... What is this little thing by your name? Oh, it's the 2022 TwitchCon Amsterdam thing. It's a cute flower. I love it. So it's unseasonably cold right now, Hatch. Like, there's something weird going on. Did my hype train badge go? I don't see it. Oh, I wonder if it went because when y'all triggered the hype train yesterday, it didn't actually become a train. So maybe everyone lost their badges. Oh, I know, there it is. Now I see it. Former hype train conductor is back. Weird. But yeah, as far as where we are in the world, it's unclear. It's supposed to be like warm and summery, but it's not. That was actually pretty badass. Uh-huh. I think we lost him? Are we up in the mountains? I don't think so. If anything, we went downhill. Then what's up with the Winter Wonderland? All I know is there's no going back the way we came. Let's see if we can get our bearings. Follow me.
A disc of smooth metal was lightly covered in snow.
Where's Alice? Don't know. Haven't found her.
Faint seams were visible along the surface.
A manhole cover? If it is, I've never seen one like it. Oh. What's the readout? Just sitting above 258 Kelvin, so they're measuring temperature. That's down a bit from last time. Should we report this to Mr. Kerr? Still within safe ranges. Oh, I wonder if these are supposed to be his like clone army. Maybe spreading, but it's under control for now. Even a small nudge in the equilibrium could cause a cascade. Dude, relax. Just a few more sites to hit before we can punch out. Let's get this over with. This is the Beacon Pine sign. What's all this? Hard to say with all the snow. I think it's a town sign. I can almost make out lead is under there. What town could this even be? There couldn't be another town this deep into Weepwood. I'm looking at evidence to the contrary. Let's figure out what we're dealing with here. Step 1, snow's gotta go. I'll see what I can do. This is the Beacon Pine sign.
The boys stared in disbelief at the sign that now clearly read, "Welcome to Beacon Pines."
This doesn't make any sense. We're in Beacon Pines? How's that possible? We ran away from town. How'd we get back here? I guess we got turned around? Where did all this snow come from? Well, it's been colder than normal lately. I mean, there's a pretty big difference between sweater weather and Arctic hellscape. The puddle we fought at before. It was cold too. Maybe all of it leads to one source. You think it's related? What the hell is going on? We're gonna get you some answers. Let's keep moving. Luca! Luca, are you there?
Almost forgotten the walkie-talkie he was carrying.
Oh, it's that bozo, Kuh. I did the wrong voice. Luca, Luca, are you there? Is that bozo, Kuh? I hope nothing bad has happened to you out in those woods.
I looked at Iggy with hesitation.
No need to be rude.
Sorry, Luca responded.
No, you don't need to respond. Seems like the only dangerous thing in the woods is you. He speaks, the young man of the hour. Now, how in tarnation did you end up with one of our radios? Just lucky, I guess. Boy, howdy, you Van Horns are full of surprises, aren't you? You knew my parents? Well, I never had the honor of meeting your father. But your mom sure was a handful.
Luca winced, shoving the walkie-talkie back into his pocket.
We gotta keep moving. I was trying to see if there was a way to go back to our grand's house. But this looks different. This looks the same. Yeah, it's all frozen over.
The fencing glistened, each chain link encapsulated with a translucent layer of ice.
Looks like the stuff they put up around Weepwood. The stuff who put up? I don't know. This stuff look familiar to you? It looks like that barrel near the puddle I, shoved me into, yeah. Well, again, Iggy, if you weren't being a bully, maybe you wouldn't have gotten shoved into the goo. It's all frozen.
Looking down at the frozen stream, Luca could faintly see a school of minnows encased in the ice.
Whatever happened here, it happened fast. The fish didn't even have time to run. Or, you know, swim run.
The crunching of footsteps trailing Luca went hush. He looked back to see Iggy's face twisted with confusion.
Everyone's gone. What? There's nothing here but more snow. There must be an explanation for all of this. We have to keep looking. You can look all you want. I quit. Iggy, we have to keep going. You don't get it, do you? This isn't one of your pathetic Hank Atomic stories. We aren't gonna save the day. We aren't even gonna save ourselves. My face is mangled. The town's destroyed. And everyone we ever known is gone. We don't know that. You can't just quit. Do whatever you want. I'm done. Iggy, it's gonna be okay.
Luca peered upward at the darkening sky. He let out a long, foggy breath. Faintly, Iggy began to cry. Seeing Iggy in such a pathetic state gave Luca a sense of compassion and more than a little guilt.
It is getting pretty late, I think. Probably not a great idea to stumble around in the dark anyway.
Luca allowed himself to collapse next to Iggy.
Let's just rest for a
The
bit.
boys huddled together for warmth and comfort. If not for exhaustion, their minds would be racing, trying to make sense of the events of the day. As it was, all they had energy for was to sit in silence, numb.
I mean, you should probably find some shelter, kids. The way the snow covered everything over, it's kind of calming. Yeah. I haven't had time to say it, but thanks. Huh? For getting us away from those creeps. Hey, so what up? Froze up back there? Iggy, I should be the one apologizing. This all happened because I lost my temper. Nah, it's bull hockey. First of all, you didn't know what the gunk would do. You didn't, right? Of course not. And second, stop with this baloney about losing your temper. But I did lose my temper.
Iggy motioned sarcastically to his half-deformed face.
Obviously. But that's exactly what you should have done. Huh? I was being a horse's ass. And you were supposed to be a horse's ass in response. That's how it works. Iggy, I'm having a hard time following. You wanted me to fight you? Of course. Jeez, you goody-goody types take forever to understand this very basic point. Why would you go around saying cruel things trying to get into fights?
Shrugged.
Something to do? You're an asshole because you're bored? Sometimes I just feel empty. You wouldn't understand. You and Rolo are always having a blast together. Laughing and calling that dinky little treehouse mission control.
Now wept openly.
Perfect little Luca Van Horn with his perfect little life. My life is not perfect. Everybody in town likes you. Not everybody. Hell, that new girl hasn't even unpacked yet, and she already likes you. You have
He wiped
Tish.
his nose with a sleeve.
I love Tish. Tish is great, but she ain't exactly the world's greatest conversationalist, you know?
Luca gave a warm chuckle.
I get that impression.
Iggy cleared his throat as he wiped his eyes.
Oh, must be raining out here. Definitely.
Iggy arched into a wide yawn.
We should probably try to get some sleep. Yeah. Let's lay low for now. Tomorrow we'll get to the bottom of all this.
Luca's eyelids began to slowly drift shut.
Kids, find shelter somewhere. You can't just sleep out in the open in the snow. Luca? Yeah? I always did want to see the inside of your dinky little treehouse. What'd you think? Not bad. I'll give you the full tour when we get back. You know what? Huh?
That's all Luca could whisper before succumbing to sleep. Iggy snuggled in some more.
When it comes to the worst days of my entire life, this one wasn't half bad. Aww.
The house smelled of warm bread. Luca was playing with toy blocks on the living room rug. He looked up to see his parents on the couch. His mother held his father's head in her lap. She idly stroked his hair while humming a song. A voice behind Luca spoke. "This is how you remember them, huh?" Luca turned to see his own face. The doppelganger from his dreams, still clad in a yellow hazmat suit, still carrying a look of disdain behind empty eyes. Aww, look at this perfectly cozy scene. You know it wasn't really like this. The figure picked up a toy block and inspected it. It's amazing the facades that one can build given the right materials. Not that I blame us. These are a child's memories, all warm and fuzzy. You don't remember, do you? Luca snatched the block from the figure's yellow-gloved hand. Remember what? The doppelganger pointed to the couch. The last day we saw him alive. The day he chose to abandon us. Luca turned to look at his father, still lounging on the couch. That's not true. He didn't abandon us. The doppelganger waved his hand dismissively. Everything is true here. It's just a matter of what we choose to see. Let me show you. The world flickered and pulsed. Luca was sitting next to his bed, listening to his heartbeat with one of his dad's stethoscopes. The doppelganger limped into the room. Now, we both know that's not how this went. He grabbed Luca's hand and guided the stethoscope to the floor. Luca heard muffled shouting, brought close by the stethoscope. It was his parents, fighting. Do you remember what we did next? Luca gave a slow nod and crept down the hall to peek through the banister. He could see the outline of his mother at the bottom of the stairs. Damn it, Walt. We can't afford to get involved in this. She was scared. His father stepped forward. What am I supposed to do? Just watch? There's a sickness in this town, and we both know who's behind it. I swore an oath to help people.
The harvest.
I won't turn my back on them. Luca's mother grabbed Walt. She was crying, pleading. I can't lose you. Walt calmly removed Eleanor's hand from his shoulder. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. I could never live with myself if I let Sharper get away with this. Eleanor raised her voice. Spare me your bullshit platitudes. What about our son? Luca flinched, dropping the stethoscope down the stairs.
Uh-oh.
Walt turned with a panicked smile. Luca, is that you, buddy? With tears in his eyes, Luca descended the stairs. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Walt dropped to a knee to meet Luca eye to eye. Nothing, buckaroo. Your mom and I just got a little overexcited is all. Luca placed the stethoscope against his father's chest. His heart was racing. It sounded like you were going somewhere? Walt gently removed the device from Luca's ears. Listen to me, Luca. I have some business to take care of. I'll be back in time to tuck you in.
No, you won't.
Luca hugged his father tightly. Promise? Walt stood up and walked to the door. He glanced over his shoulder. I promise. With a wink and a grin, he put on his hat and strode out into the evening sun. A figure approached soundlessly from the foggy snowfall. It stood above them, lingering in contemplation. Slowly raising one hand above Iggy, it snapped out 2 brisk raps on his head. From a deep slumber, Iggy sprang up defensively.
Get your hands off me!
Whether it was the calming presence or the recognition that he was not in danger, Iggy felt his clenched fists lower.
Just what do you think you're doing?
Luca looked up, gradually remembering his whereabouts. The figure exhaled a cloud of warm vapor.
You two certainly have caused a lot of commotion. What's that supposed to mean? Take it easy, Iggy. We're asleep, minding our own business. You're the one running around knocking up people's heads. I'm sorry if I hurt you, Iggy. You didn't hurt nobody. Anybody. Huh? Oh, I see. I think you think you're better than me. You...
When it came to complete strangers, Iggy had trouble cobbling together an insult.
You big-hatted, scoffy-necked furball. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's lower the temperature a bit here. Interesting choice of words. I mean, let's just all calm down. Who are you? A friend. An observer. A hitchhiker on the infinite expanse of possibility. Great. How about a name? If you must call me something, you can call me Nat.
Iggy huffed with gratification.
Well, how about you make like a gnat and buzz off? Very well.
Nat began to turn away indifferently.
What does he have against hats? I feel offended. He doesn't. He's just a bully and wants to insult people. So he's like, let's try to make you feel insecure about your fashion choices. Wait! Do you live here? You might say that. So you know where we are? You might also say that. Look, pal, we just want to find a safe way out of here. You gonna help us or not? Before knowing how to leave, one must know where they are. All right, that does it. Luca, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here one way or another. Hey, Joda, welcome on in.
Iggy turned sharply and began to stomp off.
Enough with the riddles. Iggy, wait up.
Realizing he'd worn their patience then, Nat relented.
Very well. I suppose this isn't the time for metaphors. I'll show you how to get back home.
Luca and Iggy turned around with hope in their eyes.
Come here.
Nat took a deep breath in.
Close your eyes.
Nat exhaled slowly, then snapped his fingers.
Okay, open
For a
them.
brief moment, Luca and Iggy let themselves believe that some great magic was about to unfold. Until they opened their eyes and found themselves in the exact same place, cold and disheartened.
This is your home. This is Beacon Pines. Look, Nat, we don't know how we got here. Maybe we stumbled through some time travel gate in Weepwood? Or we teleported to some alternate universe? Or this is all just some cruel experiment by Mr. Care and his goons? But this is not our home. You're inching closer to the truth. Alas, the reality is much less fanciful. Just give it to us straight. So be it. As I said, this is Beacon Pines. The original, true Beacon Pines. You both grew up here, but the town you've called your home for the past several years is a replica. Oh, interesting. A remarkable achievement of engineering, to be fair, but a replica nonetheless. That's impossible. It's too much work. You'd need a whole town to replicate a whole town. Indeed, to pull off such a feat would require immense labor power. That which could be moved would be moved. That which could not would require a precise duplicate. We would have noticed. Someone would have noticed. You'd think so, unless the auditing was impeccable. A mind-numbing attention to detail. As for the innumerable trivialities which complete the tapestry, well, you can leave that miraculous thing to this miraculous thing we call a brain. It has a real aversion to discontinuity, a revulsion even. The brain has a wonderful way of smoothing out the rough edges, keeping us sane.
Luca and Iggy looked around uncomfortably.
So, you're saying that someone made an entire new town and moved us all and no one noticed? Precisely. But why? Why is the one question that can never be answered with certainty. The best one can do is to uncover...
He narrowed his eyes, furrowed his brow, and uttered,
the source. Why'd you say the source like that? Why,
Luca
indeed.
began to laugh uncomfortably.
This is all ridiculous. There's no way they
He
could...
looked down at his feet. His eyes started back and forth in contemplation. With a sudden pain, a thought struck him.
If this really is home...
He sprinted off into the pale distance. As Iggy turned to follow, Nat called out,
Iggy, it's not too late to turn back. Simply head west through the Weepwood. This is
Chapter 6.
uncomfortable.
The Source. Nat expressed his sympathy with a shrug and sauntered off as unassumingly as he'd arrived. He'd given Luca and Iggy what they needed, and nothing more. As Luca sprinted across the snow, the events of the past few days became clearer, pieces to a larger puzzle. Rollo said he was underground somewhere, captured. Mr. Kerr tried to cover it up with lies. The clipboards were hell-bent on capturing Iggy. It all seemed to point to Perennial Harvest. But right now, there was one thing that Luca needed to know. Luca stopped dead in his tracks. The tree was gone, uprooted and moved, leaving a raw gash in the earth. He dropped to his knees and dug wildly at the cold snow.
Oh, because he's looking for
something hard.
his dad's grave.
A dry whisper escaped Luca's lips.
You're here. All this time I thought I was visiting you. But you've been here. Alone in the snow. Dad, I'm so sorry. They ruined your favorite spot in the world. Our favorite spot in the world. Thanks for the hydration reminder hat. Dad, what do I do?
There was no reply, just snow-covered silence.
Everyone in chat, check your posture. Also, if you feel like it, put your pronouns in chat. My pronouns are she, her. Why'd you give me the slip like that? What if I couldn't find you, you jerk?
Iggy finally noticed the tears welling in Luca's eyes and the snow-covered grave.
Oh. Iggy, they stole his tree, Iggy! Yikes.
Suddenly, they heard the crunch of approaching footsteps in the snow.
We gotta hide! Why'd they leave the grave? I don't know. I mean, I guess they probably thought it was easier to just make a copy. I don't know, Olsen. Also, hey, Olsen. Saroni uses she, her pronouns. 259K. Fall-off distance still good. Dude, did you hear me? I said 259. Sorry. You ever think about what we did here? We saved a whole town of people. Doesn't feel like it sometimes. What about everything we left behind? That's the grave of someone with a family. The people who loved them will never know the truth. The truth is
He bent
overrated.
down to scoop up a snowball and lobbed it playfully.
Hey! Don't be such a downer, dude. We took this job to change the world. Yeah. Come on. It's almost lunchtime. Weirdo. Yo, I thought I was a jerk. These dinguses are out here literally dancing on graves.
Luca stuttered through heaving sobs.
I thought I was visiting him. I thought he was with me. Not gonna lie, that's a bad break. Here's some
Luca
advice.
a solid smack on the back of his head.
Hey! Who's any of this helping? What? Sitting here in the snow crying like some pushover. Who you helping? Iggy, look what they did. They lied to everyone. Blah, blah, blah. Luca Van Horn, you're a lot of things, but you ain't no pushover. What'd I tell you before? When some jerk comes at you, acting like a horse's ass, I should stand up for myself. Hell yeah! Kerr and his merry little band of clipboards pulled off this switcheroo for a reason, right? Nat mentioned something about a source.
Luca wiped his eyes with a sleeve.
Whatever's at the source, it must be awfully valuable to Perennial Harvest. Sure would be a shame if something unfortunate was to happen to the precious source, wouldn't it? What'd you have in mind? If it's small enough to steal, we snatch it. If it's too big to snatch, we smash it. And what if it's too big to smash?
Iggy flashed a mischievous smile and cracked his knuckles.
I'm always up for a challenge. I'm gonna make this right, Dad. I promise. Let's do this. All right. It can get awful cold out there in those woods, Luca. Probably best you two stay put and conserve your energy. Help's on the way. Where's Rollo? Where's my mom? Did you kill her? Oh, heavens no. Do I seem like a killer to you?
Iggy and Luca shared a skeptical look.
Well, do I? Aw, shucks. Now that hurts my feelings. Screw that guy. Wait a minute. If this is the original town, then that means...
Iggy darted behind a large pine and began digging furiously. He emerged holding a shoebox with a crude skull painted on its lid.
What's that? Long story. So, a few years back, I, came into possession of some premium grade fireworks. Not the wimpy firecracker stuff they give kids. The good stuff. So why'd you bury it under a tree? That's the long part of the story. You and Rollo were doing chores at Rollo's chicken coop. And you guys pissed me off for some reason or another.
Rolled his eyes with realization.
No, you
Iggy
didn't.
stifled a chuckle.
Yup. I just wanted to give you guys a little scare. But, like I said, these were some primo fireworks, so I might underestimated things. You blew up the chicken coop. You did that. I mean, I prefer to think of it as an incendiary redecoration. Sorry, but you should have seen the looks on your faces. Yeah, they're like 6 years old or something. Rollo got grounded for months, which is why I needed to stash the evidence and lay low. So I buried them under that tree. But when I came back for them later, they were gone. I figured some grown-up found them and tossed them.
Triumphantly raised the shoebox.
Turns out, it wasn't the fireworks that got moved. It was us. Unbelievable. Do you think this is a game? Newsflash, boyo. You're not a hero. Would not trust those fireworks? Yeah, we'll see how it goes, huh? You're a little brat who's in way over his head. A hero is just someone who refuses to give up. Comics these days are rotting children's brains. Everyone thinks they're a spaceman superhero. I was always partial to Hank Atomic myself. Is that so? You really think you have a chance against us? It's not obviously a nuclear winter, no. There's something else going on. You have no idea how powerful we are. Prepare for blast off, loser. Especially because it's just contained to this old town, which is literally like, I don't know, maybe a half hour from the New Beacon Pines. There's like some sort of like chemical development that they did because they had that bad harvest. I forget the specific name of it. Like this big accident and like the chemical barrels here over on the, oh, we can just literally walk across this because it's frozen. The toxic waste barrels here as well. It suggests that there's something else going on. I don't have all of the pieces yet. The shit? Crooked. Just like this whole stinking place. Oh. Nuclear waste? Possibly? I don't think so. I think it's more magical than that, or like supernatural than that. I think we're leaning more into science fiction here, especially with that ice blast that we ended last time with.
Luca and Iggy inched up to the edge of the hole with bewilderment in their eyes.
Just thinking nuclear meltdown or something similar with the whole we move the whole town to save the town. I don't think so. Wasn't here for that. Yeah, it was at the very end of last week's stream. But yeah, it's definitely way more sci-fi than just nuclear meltdown. That's way too mundane for whatever's going on here.
Arctic air breathed out of the cavern in heaving gusts.
Echo! 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 Echo. Whoa. I can see why they wanted to move us out of town now. I know nothing about the game besides the few minutes I've been here. No worries. That's what I'm here for, to let you know what you've missed. Or maybe a mix of both. Definitely not. Hey, Ori. Definitely not nuclear, though. If nuclear, it'd be much bigger than a single town. Also that. Yeah, because if it was nuclear fallout, like that's something that is hugely widespread because it's because like the ash or whatever from the explosion, it's like, isn't it caused because like nuclear winter's caused by messing up the atmosphere basically and preventing the sun from warming the planet, so that's why the temperature drops? I mean, Ori, you know how they're having trouble harvesting food? Like they dig up carrots and half of them are rotten? It could be. But also, plants are pretty radio resilient. So, one thing I learned about radiation, because I studied it pretty extensively in school, is that plants and simple structures are pretty resilient to radiation. It's more complicated cells and structures that are more likely to be affected by radiation. It could be. I'm not convinced, because again, there was that ice bomb that happened at the very end of the last time we played. And that's some sci-fi BS right there. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be more science fiction-y than a nuclear blast. But why would they dig a giant hole? I think this is it. This is the source? Yeah, it seems like it's more a weird thing, a weird freezy thing going on. It's a dang hole? How do we smash a hole? Oh no. Oh, it's much more than that, my annoying little friend. Kerr, where's Rollo? I wasn't lying before. He's safe. Well, safer than you two, at least. Drats, it's cold. You just had to drag me all the way out here, didn't you?
Kerr gazed down the abyss in contemplation.
It really is something, isn't it? What did you do to our town? What is all of this? Well, that's a doozy of a question. What if the freeze from the one timeline is where we are now? We're not. Or you missed a whole lot. And one thing that you missed is that we're in a duplicate town. They rebuilt our town, carbon copy, into another town. Oh, you have been. Never mind then. So we're definitely not in the original town. This is a copy. And we can tell because there's no perennial harvest here. And unless you're saying the blasts went across timelines, but that doesn't make any sense because we were just at the treehouse and we ran away. More complex something is, the more ways it can fail when you add semi-random changes like radiation. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's basically the more, yeah, you're 100% right, Olsen. The more complicated a structure is, the more likely there are for things to go wrong. The more ways that radiation can mess up how it reproduces the cell. So yeah, that's 100% it. This is the source where they collect the unrefined.
Kerr scratched the back of his head.
Honestly, boys, I don't understand any of this well enough to explain it. I was thinking bubbles localized to the town, covering them, and then all the bubble variations of the town. Fact of the matter is, I'm not paid to know. What do you mean you don't know? Ain't you in charge? Oh, heavens, no! My role is merely to flash a winning smile and manage various complications. Have a good night, Hat. I hope you sleep well. Complications like us? You are a smart boy.
His face contorted into a saccharine grin.
It really is nothing personal. Some people are destined to strive for greatness, and others are simply obstacles along the way. Seems like you were destined to be a creepy lackey. Hopefully nothing too nightmarish after Beacon Pines. The point is that we all play a part in our life. Mine just happens to be a lead in the role of a lifetime. And you happen to be extras ready for your curtain call. We aren't giving up without a fight. Your smile's not gonna be so winning after we're done with you. Now, boys, there's no need for melodrama. It makes even a professional such as myself embarrassed for you. let's change the mood a bit.
Snapped his fingers.
Scene change. There. That's better. Don't know if that's going to be an option, Cerrone. Deal with them.
Iggy turned to Luca with a sly glance.
Why are you smirking? Because I have a box full of fireworks and you don't?
Iggy waved the box into the air, threatening to drop it down the hole.
Stop! Let's not do something regrettable. Joke's on you! Regret is one of my specialities! Out of curiosity, what would happen if I threw these in your precious hole? Nothing. Nothing at all. You're a terrible liar. I'll have you know I'm an exceptional liar. But, that's far enough!
Iggy plucked a single bottle rocket from the box and held it up with reverence.
Stop, you fool! Call off ya goons!
After a long pause, Mr. Kerr flung up his hand with frustration.
Very well. You can all head back for the night. It's been a long day. I'll handle these two from here.
Mr. Kerr sighed into the frigid air.
It's just us now, Iggy. You can put that down. What? Like
With a
this?
nonchalant flick, Iggy tossed the firework into the hole.
Ooh! Oh, look at Kerr's face. Whoa.
With a growl, Kerr leapt at Iggy, crashing through Luca.
Oh, shoot.
Iggy tried to twist away, but in the struggle they both tumbled over the side. Luca dove forward, bracing Iggy's hand just before it slipped. His grip was made precarious by the cold, wet snow. He could see Kerr further down, clinging to Iggy's coat.
You reckless child! What have you done? Luca, listen to me. Hold on tight and use that walkie-talkie to call them back. How, what channel do I use? Doesn't make a damn difference. They're always listening. If you do that, the clipboards will just haul us up and snag us both. The only way you get out of this is if Kerr's out of the picture. Just let go and save yourself. If he lets go, we both die. I don't want to die, but seeing that look on your face almost makes it worth it. Mr. Kerr, you've had a long life. Why don't you actually do something selfless and just let go?
Mr. Kerr gasped with insult.
Long life? I'll have you know I can still play 25. You should have heard me sing the part of Phileas
With a
Young.
wild look in his eye, Mr. Kerr began to hum a proud melody.
Wow, can you believe this guy?
Luca's hand began to cramp. His voice began to crack.
Kerr, just let go. No can do. If you want to save your friend, you'll have to save me too. Luca, look at me. It's okay.
Luca felt Iggy loosen his grasp.
You aren't gonna kill your friend like that, are you?
Every muscle in Luca's body burned.
I'm not his friend. Yes, you are. Nah, I'm just a no-good bully. Like you, Kerr. Iggy, no.
Luca felt his hand slipping.
And I told you what you need to do with bullies. I can't. It's your only way out of this mess. 2 birds, 1 stone. It makes sense for us to fall together. Wackadoos travel in packs.
Calm settled over Iggy's face.
Luca, let me do
Iggy's
this.
voice was colder than the bitter air billowing from the chasm.
Let me do the right thing for once. Luca had no choice but to accept or refuse. I think we're gonna accept here.
Luca had no choice but to accept Iggy's request. With a quiet blink, Luca watched a teardrop sail down into the howling void.
Hi, Rave.
As his fingers slowly gave up, he met eyes with Iggy.
Good.
The two silhouettes were swallowed by darkness.
These are the saddest fireworks ever. Hello, goodbye, Iggy. Luca, you should really step back. What? Quickly. Oh, okay. Curious. Ah, but of course. Those fireworks of Iggy's must have just been the right amount of energy. We should get out of here before perennial harvest arrives. Not until you tell me what just happened. Your friend's sacrifice just saved this town. For a little while, anyway. How? Tempus liquamine is a peculiar substance. Yeah, this is the science fiction right here. It can change the relationship between matter and time itself. The heck? But doing so requires unfathomable energy. In a closed system, that energy can only come from its surroundings, which is why it's so cold. Wait. Now I'm wondering, is our ability to travel through time in the story because of this? Now I'm worried. A useful side product of this property being, by adding precisely the correct amount of energy to it, one can create a cryogenic cascade. So the gunk makes things cold, and the fireworks made the hole freeze over? I don't know, Rave. I don't think intentionally, no. That's one way of putting it, yes. As dumb luck would have it, the fireworks weren't strong enough to generate a runaway reaction. I shudder to think what would have happened in that case.
We have some idea what that would look like.
Yeah, we do. It will take them a good while to safely break through and access the source again. If you know all this stuff, why haven't you been helping? I have been, in my way. Each one of us has our role to play. Iggy's role, it turns out, was to buy us precious time. Mine has been to observe and wait. Wait for what? You. Me? Why? What's my role?
A fierce twinkle flashed in Nat's eyes.
Luca Van Horn, you are gonna save the world.
With a chuckle, Nat turned and walked west. Dumbfounded, Luca followed behind him, trudging through the snow. Every step taking him further away from everyone and everything he knew, and closer to destiny. To be continued in Beacon Pines, Pines Harder.
Wait, what? What?
Revenge served cold.
Excuse you?
Second time's a charm?
Wait. To charm.
Wait,
That's a hint.
That's it? This ends with a crummy cliffhanger just when it was getting good? I was even starting to like Iggy. No way. I refuse to be associated with some never-ending parade of sequels. Let's go back and find something more definitive.
All right, let's try refusing. The hyphens. Yeah, what does that mean?
Luca had no choice but to refuse Iggy's request. He tightened his grip and reached for the walkie-talkie in his pocket. A wild delight crept onto Mr. Kerr's face. That's a good lad. Now, radio for help. Iggy begged Luca with his eyes one last time, but Luca pressed the button and called out, We need help. Mr. Kerr is in danger. It wasn't long before they were once again surrounded by clipboards. Mr. Kerr sighed with relieved frustration. There you are. You really are a worthless lot, aren't you? Mirror, now. A clipboard dutifully produced an ornate ivory hand mirror, and Mr. Kerr began preening his tousled hair.
What game engine did they use? I have no idea.
Ah, that's better. Mr. Van Horn, I applaud your sharp thinking under duress. I'll put in a good word for you with the founder. Take them away. A swarm of hands overpowered Luca. The last thing he saw before a cloth bag was pulled over his head was the defeated look on Iggy's face. The end. I think this was one of those times where doing the right thing was the wrong thing.
Okay. To charm. If we go to... So we have two things that we can do right now. We can go back here and pick Tickle instead of Strange, because Strange led us up this path. Tickle's probably gonna be bad. Or we can go here and go Break instead of Rumble. But I also... I want to go... I'm gonna come back here for just a second.
Just gonna go chill for the day.
Yeah, I mean, all the ends are bad except for one, pretty much. That's like the whole selling point of the story, is like you go through all of the bad endings before you get to the good ones. So we still have Hum, we have Crooked, we have Weep. We have a lot of ones that we haven't used yet. Pungent. Shame. Indulgent. I don't know if we've used Pull yet or not. Though some of these are probably going to be in that memory. Hold on. Here's a fishing memory. Just doing a little tidying up. I want to... go to the tree house.
Chapter Welcome to Beacon. For many, it wasn't over the net until in the
Did you search through the library? What do you mean?
Whenever Luca saw it, reminded.
I remember Streamer got a charm in the library. I think I looked through the library, but who knows? Oh, okay. Pungent and Crooked are new.
Luca wrapped a twig of thyme around the hook. Some fish have refined taste.
Pie Charm is a code editor, and I thought this might get real meta. Oh gosh. Do you remember what charm they got in the library? Property of Sharper Valentine. Figures. If he had his way, property of Sharper Valentine would be written on everything in this town. Should we give it back to him? He may not even want it back. Man's got a contentious relationship with time. We'll keep it here in case he ever wants to pick it up.
Luca tied a bent nail onto the line. If all you have is a hammer...
It's a photo of you and Uncle Joseph. Let me see that. Huh, look at these two young fools. How did it end up at the bottom of the pond? Who can say? Some things are just hard to explain. I miss Uncle Joseph. How come he doesn't come fishing with us anymore? He's busy with his new job at Valentine's. What's his new job got to do with him fishing with us? It's complicated. Like I said, some things are hard to explain. All right, there's still, I think, maybe one more item to fish up. But we don't have the charm for it yet. Oh, I can't do that here. I was gonna go check the library, but it's not gonna let me. Let's see. Yeah, I don't remember. We'll just have to, next time we're at the library. I'm pretty sure I looked through everything, but might not have. Let's do this one. So this is when Iggy was bullying us. We're gonna tickle, whatever that means.
Well, time to bust out the tickles.
Thought I saw a charm there without a check mark. Charm where? We have... Oh, do you mean in the fishing spot? There was pungent and there was crooked. I think we've done everything else. Hey Tish, want to see something cool? Yup. Check it.
Beck lunged forward and began to tickle under Tish's arms.
What the? Tish, is she tickling you? Yup. Yup. Yup.
Tears began to form in Tish's eyes as she gasped for breath between gales of laughter.
Yup. Yup.
Beck
Yup.
redoubled her efforts until Tish finally had had enough.
Ooh, what just happened? She seems nice. Sorry for the interruption. I think you were just threatening us.
Iggy's eyes darted around, a realization dawning on his face that he was now outnumbered.
I just remembered. I have somewhere to be. Uh-huh. See you around, new
Iggy
kid.
picked at the puddle before making his escape.
No, not Beck! Oh no. Oh no. Whoa. What a little creep. Wash it out of your hair. Get it out now. Beck? I think you got a little ooze in your hair.
Shook the ooze out of her hair as best as she could.
Is it bad? It depends? What are your feelings about having a more mature, refined look? Oh, God.
Chapter 4. The Best Policy. Luca paused for a moment, catching his breath. He'd only just met Beck, and somehow he already managed to drag her into this mess. Hopefully he could make it up to her. But finding Rollo was his primary concern.
Luca, what the hell are you doing out here? And why did a kid with gray hair just run past us in a panic?
Roxy and Fitz looked drained. It was clear they'd spent all day searching.
That's Beck. I don't care who she is. What happened? We were just helping look for Rollo. Luca, I need you to start telling me the truth.
Roxy's temper could often be dismissed as the impatience of an older sibling, but this was the most intense Luca had ever seen her. Her eyes were wild and unfocused, looking straight through Luca.
We're running out of
In a
time.
torrent of rambled words and tears, Luca broke down.
Rollo and I weren't just playing in Weepwood yesterday. We were investigating the lights at the old Valentine warehouse, but someone was in there with a strange suit, and we hid in the dumpster and had a heavy bag dropped on us, and then I think it was a body, and then we ran and we got split up, and I ran home, and it's all my fault. And now my best friend may never come back. Wow. Just, wow.
Roxy, still exhausted and angry, softened briefly as her eyes hunted the ground in thought. With a determined sigh, she looked up at Luca.
It's not your fault, Luca. Rollo's gonna be okay, I promise.
Roxy drew herself up.
I'm gonna fix this. Luca, go home. But I want to help. This is too dangerous for a kid. But I can't just sit around. I have to do something.
Roxy tried to think of the safest place to send Luca.
You go back to that little tree house you two like to play in. Wait there in case Rollo shows up. Sound like a plan?
He wiped his cheeks and gave a quick nod.
You did the right thing, telling me the truth. Now scoot. You really believe his story? What other option do we have? Things have been strange around here leading up to the festival. My dad has been acting weird lately. Well, weirder than normal.
To the puddle, Roxy rubbed her arms to warm up.
Why is it so cold here? This place gives me the willies. Actually,
Mr. Nuncree jumped with a start.
Whoa! Don't sneak up on old fella like that. Sorry? Who are you talking to? What?
Luca motioned to the phone booth.
Oh, no. I was just checking because I thought I heard it ring. But the dang thing never does, of course. Yeah, I've never seen anyone use it, really. The whole thing's a waste of money, if you ask me. Any word from Rollo yet? Not yet. Long time for a boy to lose his way. Rollo knows these woods too well to get lost. I suppose you're right. Silly boy's antics have this whole town worried sick. Antics? We all know Rollo likes to play his little pranks. You think this is a prank? What other possible explanation could there be? He's not playing a prank, and he didn't get lost. Someone took him. I know it. And how would you know that? Unless... Luca, is there something else that you know? I do not trust this man.
Mr. Nuncree gently placed one of his substantial hands on Luca's shoulder.
Dang it, boy, if there's something you know, something that could help your friend, you need to tell folks. I'm not telling him.
Luca peered up at Mr. Nuncree. Kind eyes warmed a stern face.
I never thought anything of that "why is it so cold here" line. Yeah.
There was a deeper emotion hiding beneath it all. It was subtle, but Luca could sense something eating away at him.
There was a shame lurking behind those eyes.
There was a shame lurking behind those eyes. A deep sadness. If Mr. Nuncree was that worried about Rollo, maybe he could help.
No! Not yet. It's fine. We'll just get the bad end and then we'll get what we need for the better end. Yesterday, Rollo and I were messing around at the old Valentine warehouse.
Nuncree raised an eyebrow.
Both of you? You were with Rollo when he went missing? Not exactly. I was hiding in the dumpster. The dumpster? What were you doing in there? At first, we were just looking around, and then someone in a strange yellow suit came out and dumped something on us. Might be good to go over, though, with our knowledge we have now. Go over where? We both got scared and ran. That was the last I saw of him. You got scared by some garbage. Well, that's why you don't go skulking in someone's dumpster. But it wasn't garbage. I think it was a body. I'm sure it was just some trash. I'm starting to think that he was the guy in the suit. I'm worried. No, there was a name tag. It said Deep Engineering.
Mr. Nuncreed's shoulders slumped.
I wish you wouldn't have said that. Yeah, I know. You're in on it.
A deep sigh bellowed from his chest.
Why did you have to? I tried, Luca. God knows I tried to keep you safe.
Luca attempted to take a step back, but Nuncreed's hand clamped down on his shoulder.
But you Van Horns just can't help yourself, can you? You are all so close to being done with this.
With a firm shove, Nuncreed manhandled Luca into the phone booth.
Here's the irony in you giving him a Russian accent. Oh no. What are you doing? It's out of my hands
The door
now.
latched shut with a mechanical hiss.
You Van Horns? Yeah, this is definitely a reference to Luca's father and probably Luca's mother. Shit.
As Luca pounded the glass, the floor dropped from under his feet. The inside of the phone booth was now a loose capsule plummeting at gravity's whim. Luca winced and pressed his hands to the walls. As he braced for impact, the capsule hurried to a surprisingly smooth stop. He felt a cold rush of air and opened his eyes with hesitance. Two large figures in hazmat suits occluded his view. Luca heard the deep, resigned voice of Mr. Nuncreed over an intercom. He knows too much. The end. Wait. No. This isn't the end. I know there's still much more. Somehow this went wrong. Okay, let's try something else.
Okay. So we need another thing there. We did all those. So the only thing we can do right now is see what happens if the storm breaks instead of rumbles.
Luca began to respond, but the sky answered for him as the clouds above began to break, revealing patches of star-filled summer night. Moonlight filtered down, shimmering in the treetops.
Which means we probably won't have a fight with Rollo. Sure, you can meet Rollo. Oh, or maybe we will fight because we're gonna bring Beck along and Rollo's gonna be like, new friend? I don't think so. You're not going home? No, I promised Rollo I'd tell him about.
Himself mid-sentence.
Promised you tell him what? Spit it out, bub. We're thick as thieves now. If there's a juicy secret, you gotta tell me. Okay. You can come to the treehouse and I'll tell you both what happened. Heck yeah! I'm sure this is gonna be
Luca
just
saw Beck
fine.
skulking by the gate.
So you're telling me there's nothing mysterious or creepy about this place? It's mostly boring and empty. I refuse to believe that. You reckon Becca's gay like her mom? She's like 12, so I don't know that we know. Big spiked gate, looming mansion, rich reclusive owners. Even smells shady. Yes, this is the game with the super jealous dude.
Beck grabbed the wrought iron bars and shook the gate.
Mark my words, you decadent nightmare house. You will reveal your secrets to me! Oh, she's crying. Oh no. Oh no. What did you do? First of all, I told you so. Second, hide. It's Eris Valentine. Who's she talking to? Shh. I expect you to return that suit in working order. That's the mayor!
Of course. As long as everything proceeds as planned, there's nothing to worry about.
The only thing I'm worried about is what's rightfully mine. If that means making some unsavory alliances, so be it.
Couldn't agree more. There comes a time to suspend hostilities. I'll deal with the common threat.
Now this is what I was talking about.
Beck's voice was an excited whisper.
Proper shady stuff. Someone in a suit like that tried to grab me yesterday. Seriously? Shh. You do understand that when this all inevitably fails, I will deny everything?
I wouldn't expect any less of you. I just worry about your part in this, and you just worry about your part in this. Let me handle the rest.
I can't wait to see the look on that Rube Kerr's face.
Yes, the truth will come to light.
I'm still surprised you're so comfortable with the potential collateral damage.
If there's one thing I've learned, it's that change is painful.
Wow, I was expecting shady, but that's just flat out supervillain talk. If you don't mind me asking, why? Why are you doing all
The
this?
mysterious figure retracted their mask, hair pushing out from all corners.
Wait! It's our grandma!
Oh, gosh! That is not what I was expecting! Family!
A chill ran down Luca's spine, his vision blurred. Beck stifled a sharp wince, and Luca looked down to see himself wrenching her hand.
I mean, we did know that she and Eris were gonna make an alliance together. They had talked about it. Oh gosh, it's complicated because we've been down multiple timelines. Because our grandma's basically doing some spy shit. And I think she knows that Perennial Harvest is behind either what happened to one of her kids, whether it's our dad or our mom. I don't know if she's our maternal or paternal grandmother. So yeah, I can totally see her being like, they're up to no good and I'm going to sneak in and take them out from the inside. An answer I can certainly respect.
Gran tousled her hair back under the face mask.
Just remember, keep everything nice and normal until the festival. I don't need lessons in rousing suspicion.
Gran gave Eris a curt nod and disappeared into the night. Chapter 5.
Secret Agent Gran.
What big ears you have! Lucas sat shivering in the bushes, staring at his feet. After checking to make sure the coast was clear, Beck gave him a gentle tug on his sweater.
What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Why were you so scared of that old lady in the hazmat suit? That was my Gran. That was your Gran. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for all of this. Let's just get to the treehouse and figure things out there. Lead the way. For the last time, there's nothing to worry about. Oh gosh, what were their voices? Oh, of course, we're not
The
worried.
clipboard finished writing with a scratchy flourish and looked up.
Just dotting our I's and crossing our T's. Well, maybe try minding your P's and Q's.
Mr. Nuncreed arms crossed over his paunch, gave an exhausted sigh.
If there's anything you need knowing, you'll know it.
Absolutely. If you'll just sign here acknowledging everything is accurate, we'll be out of your hair in a flash.
Oh, for the love of...
He snatched the pad and scribbled his name so hard the pen nearly snapped.
There. And would you like my eternal soul as well?
Clipboards looked at each other for a moment, almost pondering the possibility, then broke into laughter as they walked away.
I don't want to talk to him, but I'm going to. Hi, Mr. Nuncreed.
Luca, let me give you some advice. The next time someone you don't know asks to hear your thoughts, give him a good hard bop right on the kisser.
Oh, Gran just tells me to keep away from the clipboards.
That's good. That's good. Your granny's smart lady, Luca. Speaking of which, you better run along home now. Too dark to be out wandering on your own.
The answers you seek will be revealed to you in due time. The question is, the figure intoned, are you prepared to live with the truth?
Dude, another day, another dollar. See you tomorrow, Z.
Have you noticed how all the Perennial Harvest folks order the same drink?
Decaf cappuccino with extra foam. Why?
I don't know. Just thought it's a little odd.
Pretty weird for sure.
Well, the customer's always right. See you bright and early tomorrow.
I can't wait, dude.
Alright, just doing a little glance to see if there's anything noteworthy. Oh, what are they doing?
William Kerr and Gus Valentine proudly surveyed the half-covered festival banner.
Oh, that's true for like... Well, yeah, I feel like a fair number of things get shortened. And then the meaning misconstrued.
It's all coming together quite nicely.
Couldn't have done it without you.
Kerr gave a half-hearted shrug.
I'm not so sure about that.
Nonsense. That reminds me, wasn't able to thank your sister for her contributions.
Yeah, she's been indisposed of late.
She doesn't much like me, does she?
Oh no, that's not it at all. She's just been busy.
Of course. Regardless, I would be forever grateful if you could pass my thanks on to her. The History Museum adds a real air of import to the whole affair. And we couldn't very well celebrate the story of Beacon Pines without including the Valentines.
My father was a great man.
You're darn tootin' he was.
Kerr locked his arm on Gus's shoulder.
But I mean the entire Valentine family. Present company included.
Can I ask you something, Mr. Kerr?
Call me William. Ask away.
William, why are you doing all of this?
Gosh, I've never felt one needed a compelling reason to throw a party.
Not just the festival. All of this. There's gotta be 100 down on their luck towns out there. Why is Perennial Harvest so interested in helping Beacon Pines?
You know what I love most about the agriculture business? The seeds.
Seeds?
Yup, little bundles of potential.
Glimmer in his eye, Kurt gestured grandly toward the horizon.
You treat a seed right, nurture it, feed it, and it can grow into something truly special.
You see potential here?
Undoubtedly. The seed of greatness is already under our feet. All it needs is a little nudge. And the right leadership, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for like what both of you were saying. Good night, Mayor Valentine. I think it does, though. Thanks for the hydration reminder, and I knew the stretch was coming. Chat, no shrimping. Yes, go stretch your legs. Have a good lurk. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, the treehouse is just a little further on from here. So, what's your buddy Rollo like? Rollo, he's... Rollo. Not particularly helpful. Thank God! Hey, look, the raid alert actually happened on time. Welcome on in! How was your stream? How did you like the demo? Did you play more than just the one? Also, let's do shout out things. I know it worked, heck. Just the Pale Beyond. How was it? I didn't get to stay for the whole thing, obviously. But I remember you saying like it was one of your favorite games from Next Fest, so I'm curious how it went. Also, welcome on in Raiders. My name's Stany. I'm a variety streamer, art streamer, and voice actress. Today we're playing Beacon Pines. We are kind of fairly far along in the story, so if you are avoiding spoilers, it might be good to step out. But if you want to see what this game is about, maybe lurk around for a little bit and then step out before we make any significant choices. It was fun voice acting, all this stuff. I'm glad you had fun. Sorry, I've just never thought about it. Lots of energy. He's funny even when he's trying not to be. Things have been tough for his family since the Foul Harvest. You know, it's about damn time you tell me what this Foul Harvest thingy is. That's kind of a long story. Hit me with the highlights. Okay. There used to be a fertilizer company here called Valentine's. They were kind of a big deal. Ooh, big deal fertilizer. Well, it was a big deal to us. Their stuff really worked. Farmers loved it. So Valentine's grew and grew. Beacon Pines pretty much grew around it. Most everyone in town either worked for Sharp or Valentine or used as fertilizer. Things were good. I'm sensing a big but. So around 6 years ago, Sharp and Valentine suddenly died. And something changed. Changed how? Could have been a bad batch? Maybe it was in the water or air or soil? Nobody knows. But all the crops died. And everyone blamed the Valentines. The Foul Harvest. Yeah. Valentine's fertilizer went out of business. Half the town lost their jobs. Sheesh. The next year, the crops came back, but something was different. You plant a crop, do everything right, and it's sort of a crapshoot what happens. And no one knows why? No. So, Saint Guard, we learned something pretty important. Do you want to know what you've missed? because we finished a couple of branches. So, were you here at the end of the last stream when we all got frozen in the ice? Okay, you know a decent amount of what happens. Okay. We just learned that there's a duplicate town that they froze over and a source of time-altering juice or something at the bottom of this frost pit because it takes up so much energy that it sucks all of the energy around it, which is why everything's so cold. So, yeah, we found out that last time, or at the beginning of the stream. It's wild. They knew about the duplicate town, but not the source stuff. Yeah, so I forget what specifically it's called. It's like, it's a liquid, and it's like Tempest something amine. And apparently it's a liquid that lets you displace stuff or alter stuff in time. But obviously it's so endothermic, I think is the right word, that it absorbs all of the heat and energy around it, which is why the duplicate town is covered in snow and why the vats of goo have frost crystals around them and everything. And I think is also why at the end of last stream, when we had that blast of like that cold bomb that we were calling it, someone did something with the goo and activated it, because we know that if you introduce energy into the source, it can cause like a temperature cascade, basically. So the hazmat suit people are trying to maintain and make sure that the duplicate town stuff isn't spreading. Like that the temperatures are being maintained and not like plummeting drastically or anything like that. I take it Rulu's farm got the short end of the stick? Yeah, for some reason their farm was hit harder than others. That sucks. Things have gotten better since Perennial Harvest came to town. The Beacon Pines Reborn initiative. Yeah, first thing they did was give the town a deep scrub. They even put us up in hotels. One town over for a week while they decontaminated the groundwater. Is that when they moved us? Huh. We better get going. All right, let's just make sure we haven't missed one. Nope, they've all got check marks.
Luca gently baited. Good for skimming the surface.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Ori. Which is why no one noticed, because they were put up in a hotel, and then when they bring them back, new town. Oh, that's wild. It's about time. I was about to give up and go home. Who's the new kid? Name's Beck. You must be Rollo. I see my reputation proceeds. Welcome to Mission Control.
Waggled his head with pride.
Hey, he's actually like not angry at meeting this new kid. That's good. I won't say anything. Yeah, if you know, please don't. You'll find we've spared no expense in construction. I've seen worse looking piles of junk. Thanks. Hey, Luca, you know the security concerns we talked about? Yeah? Well, while I was waiting, I made some improvements. Let me lock this baby down for a little test infiltration. Can't be too safe these days. Yes, Rolo is an absolute nerd. He goes all out, doesn't he? Always. I love all of them. They're all great in their own ways. Where did you guys get all this junk in the first place? Oh, there's a guy in town, Jeff, who trades us junk for snacks. Junk food for junk. Nice. So, pretty sweet security, right? It was imaginative, I'll give you that. Luca, are we sure we can trust the new recruit? I'll vouch for her. Thanks, I guess. Okay, Luca, you promised to fill me in about the Valentine warehouse.
Luca sucked in a long breath.
My favorite version of Stranger Things. Same. I'm enjoying this a lot. So, like I said, there was someone there.
What were they doing?
I don't know, but the place was lit up and active.
Well, maybe they were squatters?
I don't think so. It seemed more organized. When the man pulled me in, I saw some sort of equipment running.
A man pulled you in?
Yeah, but I got away. You keep saying it was a man. They were wearing a mask, right? Yeah. Then it could have been a woman.
How'd you get away?
I grabbed a rock or something and broke their mask. They let go and I ran.
Dang.
That's intense. No wonder you freaked out when you saw your grandma. Yeah, that's the other part. On our way here, Beck and I saw Era's Valentine meeting with Gran, wearing the same sort of hazmat suit.
A low whistle.
And they weren't there for idle chit-chat. It was a proper clandestine meetup.
So, let me get this straight. There's an operation in full swing at the Valentine warehouse. You were almost abducted by a strange man or woman in a protective suit, and then you saw your gran in the same suit talking to Era's Valentine.
Pretty much. I'm beginning to think this town is kind of awesome.
Rolo and Luca shot back a look.
No offense.
And so, we can logically conclude aliens or alien zombies have infiltrated the town. And their leader is your gran, and she tried to murder you!
First of all, and for the last time, there are no aliens. Second, it couldn't have been my gran at the warehouse. I broke that person's mask to get away. The mask Gran was wearing wasn't damaged. But she's definitely hiding something. Maybe.
Your gran is weird, but she might be the most boring person in the universe. All she does is sit around all day making jam.
Uh-huh. Really bringing that he or she energy. Yeah, for sure.
What could she possibly have to hide?
I don't know. We haven't talked much since she moved in. Just sits around making jam. Definitely no secret plans. Definitely nothing else going on. No secret messages in the jam. Moved in? Your gran isn't from here? No, she came a few months back to take care of me after
his mom went missing.
Did you know your gran before? Not really, no. Wait a minute. What if she's not actually our grandma? It's been years since I'd seen her. Luca, don't take this the wrong way. But are we sure your Gran is on the up and up?
Luca gazed out the window.
I'm just saying. It sounds like strange stuff has been happening since she showed up.
Well, we could say the same thing about your family. But you're right. Luca, your Gran is hiding something. And Pa always said folks only bury stuff worth digging up. We need to investigate your house.
If my Gran really is hiding something, don't you think I would have noticed by now? That's kind of the whole point of hiding something. I guess you're right. Gran's been leaving the house for hours at a time this week. I'll call you two tomorrow when the coast is clear, and we can start getting to the bottom of this.
I'm always up for a good game of Snoop.
I did that backwards, but whatever. You can count me in.
Chapter 6. Secret Lair. Summer forged ahead, but the nights only seemed to grow colder. Luca walked home slowly under the pale starlight, cautious to avoid any more surprises lurking in the shadows. Reaching home, he slipped quietly into bed, half dreading what they might discover the next day.
What time is it? Who's knocking at the door? Oh, Rolo, what on earth is that? Oh, he's wearing a little Sherlock hat. I do think that was the point, Olsen.
Huh?
That ridiculous thing on your head?
Oh, this? It helps me think.
You're gonna need a lot more of those.
Joke all you want. We'll see who's laughing when I crack this case wide open. The coast is clear?
Yeah, whatever she's been up to this week, it's been keeping her busy most of the day.
Very well. The game is afoot!
Luca and Beck rolled their eyes as Rollo strutted across the room.
If I were a Gran, where would I hide my deepest, darkest secrets? Perhaps where you might least expect it.
Rollo flung open the cabinet with confidence.
Aha!
He coughed as a veil of dust hit his face.
I think it's safe to assume that anything that dusty isn't what we're looking for.
Or maybe that's what she wants you to think. Then again, any good detective knows not to trust their first hunch. First hunches are for suckers. Eureka! She's lit a fire in order to burn the evidence.
She keeps that fire going every day, Rollo.
Drat, it may already be too late. Just think of the mounds of documents lost to ash.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there. Can we just think for a moment? Luca, is there anywhere your Gran doesn't want you to go? Yeah. The closet upstairs. So, maybe it stands to reason that we should check there first? No dice, it's locked.
Well, well, well. Look who stands to reason now.
And I have no idea where the key is. If it really is important, then she probably keeps it with her. Anywhere else? She has her berry bushes?
Who has ever thought, I'm gonna take this important thing and huck it in a bush?
True. Anything else? Maybe something out of the ordinary. Well, she is always worried I'll break her fancy dishware in the kitchen. But it doesn't matter anyway, I can't reach the latch.
Realization crept onto Luca's face. All three kids snapped to glance at each other, then sprinted in turn toward the kitchen.
All right, Rollo. This is your time to shine. I'm worried Rollo's gonna break everything.
Yes, you've called upon my expert detective skills. And now I shall proceed
Before he
with...
could finish, Luca scrambled up Rolo's back.
Hey, this isn't my idea of detective work.
Every squad needs a good lockpick. And every lockpick needs a sturdy head to sit on.
This is beneath my standing.
Stop complaining and hold still. Thank you, Sankard.
The three crowded around the hutch to peer in. With the glass doors opened, a perfect porcelain display gleamed in front of them. Their eyes searched for anything amiss, but the only distinct feature was its impeccability.
Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah. I don't really know what we were expecting. Like, oh, hey, let me just yank this random teacup and...
As Beck pulled on one of the teacups, it slanted forward with a hollow click. The entire hutch began to rustle and slide under its own power.
Seems like your grand's been doing some remodeling.
Dude, only two types of people have secret lairs. Evil masterminds and superheroes.
So, which one do you think she is? We're about to find out. Okay, so more of an unhinged conspiracist vibe?
Oh, wow. Yeah, this cannot be good.
We need to look around before jumping to conclusions.
What do we have here?
Barrels marked caution explosive. And jam jars? That's enough jam to feed the whole town.
What kind of incendiary jam is your grand making?
She wouldn't have me walk around town delivering bombs. Right?
Only one way to find out.
Casually spun open a lid and dipped his finger in the jam.
Oh, Rolo, please be careful.
He
Huckleberries.
smacked his lips.
Hint of brown sugar. And... ink?
What?
Rollo plunged his hand in the jar, fishing out a soggy slip of paper.
Aha!
Rollo offered the slimy note to Luca and licked his fingers clean.
It's addressed to Ms. Fratelli.
A grand jamgram?
It says, last night I used the disguise Eris provided to scout the location. The timing window should be possible. Operation Sparkplug is a go. She's gonna blow up the source and cause the cascade.
Ah, man, are they doing a heist?
Whatever it is, it can't be good. More of a bombshell than a bomb, am I right?
You're new here, so I'll let it slide, but I'm the bad joke guy around here.
Hey, Silent Assassin, welcome on in.
A spider web of string connected photos of people from the town, interspersed with hastily scrawled notes.
I missed Beck's face. Well, she sure has kept herself busy.
Is your gran a serial killer? Because I'm starting to get, like, a vibe.
Don't be ridiculous.
Sure, she's just tracking the movements of everyone in town out of the kindness of her heart.
She put little symbols by some of them. Yeah, Mr. Nuncreed has a check mark. The clipboards are all inside a big circle. My moms are both on here. Both with question marks. Gus Valentine has a question mark. Eris has a question mark that's been crossed out. Mr. Kerr has a bullseye? The killer has chosen her next victim! We don't know what any of this means. Whatever it means, it's probably not good.
Luca jostled each cabinet drawer in turn. Only one was unlocked. He fingered through the filing cabinet, pausing at a vacant folder labeled Walter.
Cosmic! Welcome on in. Thanks so much for raiding. How was your stream? Also, welcome on in, raiders. My name is Estanie. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a variety streamer, art streamer, and voice actress. Today we're playing more of Beacon Pines. So if you are avoiding spoilers for the game, you might want to step out. Otherwise, welcome on in. We are very deep into this story and it's very intriguing. Thanks so much for doing those shout outs, Saint. How was your Cult of the Lamb stream?
For a long moment, he just stared at it.
What do you got there? It's my dad. Yeah, we just found, so this was spoilers for the game. So again, if you don't want spoilers, you might want to dip out. Okay, yeah, I have to dip for spoilers and because I have chores to do, but I hope you're having fun. This game is amazing, Cosmic, and you should play it. It's very good. Close to finishing the game? Heck yeah. Nice, I'm glad you had a good stream. I won't explain anything then. Oh, and ads are starting. There we go. Thanks for rating. It's my dad. Looks like some of his old medical files. Your dad was a doctor?
He nodded and caressed the label with his thumb.
Well, are you gonna read it? Here, let me help.
Carlo swiped the folder from the drawer and began leafing through the pages. He whistled to himself, barely looking at the text.
How about you actually read some of it? One sec. Dense documents like this are a lot like a cheeseburger. Best to skip straight to the middle. That's where all the meaty bits live. Wow. I had no idea we were in the presence of a preeminent scholar in dense documents and cheeseburgers. By all means, proceed.
He stopped at a page and mimed, holding up a monocle.
Ah, here we are. Follow-up examination of Terrence Wilby. Patient shows further signs of paleness and malaise. Body temperature continues to drop. He now describes soreness of muscles and joints. This is similar to the symptoms exhibited by Mrs. Wilby just a few days past. Still waiting on lab results from Joseph.
Carlo looked up with heightened surprise.
See? Creepy. Yeah, that's kind of disturbing. Who's Joseph? That's Mr. Nuncreed's name. Huh. Wait.
Rollo's finger traced across the page.
There's more scribbled in the margins. Could it be contagious? Mr. Wilby claims the tap water in his home has been contaminated. Perhaps environmental? Lab results only raise more questions. It's like he came back to this report later and made those notes. So it might be related to something else.
Through several more pages.
Here, the writing looks shaky. I just couldn't help her. This disease or whatever it is progresses so fast. And with his wife passing, Terrence's condition follows close behind. Exacerbated by the loss. Enough is enough. I need to take matters into my own hands.
Luca, staring blankly at the cabinet this whole time, spoke softly.
What does it say next?
Nola rustled the folder, trying to loose more pages.
Well, that's where it ends. What? There has to be more.
Frantically shoved the remaining cabinet folders, trying to find another labeled Walter.
Look, I think that's the only one. It's alphabetical, see? What did he mean enough is enough? How did he take matters into his own hands? This is bullshit.
Slammed the drawer shut. They crowded around a worn-down old map of Beacon Pines.
Cool. Looks like a treasure map. Not every old map is a treasure map, Rolo. Yeah, but every treasure map is an old map. Can't fault that logic. Look, there's even a pathway drawn on it. It starts at the entrance to town. And if we follow it,
Carefully traced the path with his finger.
it leads right to
He jabbed down at the end point.
Town Square. That's the fountain in the middle of town. Or where the big hole was at the source. Because this isn't a map of the Beacon Pines we're in now. This is a map of the original Beacon Pines. I guarantee it. What a weird place to hide treasure. Rolo, that doesn't look like treasure to me. The end of the path on that map has the same symbol as those explosives over there. So I have two thoughts here. One is that our Gran is not our Gran and is just using this as a way to blow up the source and stick it to Perennial Harvest. The other thought is that Gran is trying to change the past. That Gran is our father's mother and is taking these explosives to the source to try to fuel some sort of time travel shenanigans so she can save her son before he's killed. Those are my theories right now. But she's definitely blowing up the source. What's your other theory? I want to know. So, it's not hiding treasure. Real bummer. Rolo, what's the thing you've been excited about for the past month? The festival! Did you just say gulp? Gulp? This feels like a gulp kind of situation. Everyone be gathered near the center of town. She's gonna blow up the festival! Gran is actually Luca's mom, but having gone through a bunch of time travel shenanigans. Ooh. That's interesting. But I feel like the way she treats us does not feel like she's our mom. She's just trying to eliminate the source and doesn't want anyone else to lose their son. That's possible. Maybe she doesn't know that putting explosives down there is actually going to make everything worse. That's possible. She seems really well informed though. Not if we stop her. What was that?
Luca looked up from the map.
What was what? No, I heard it too. That was the front door. Which means someone just shut the door. Which means someone's upstairs. Shh, quiet. Get the lights.
Beck flicked off the light, and they became statues in the dark. Overhead, creaking floorboards bent under slow, deliberate steps. The kids looked up, the tilt of their necks following each footfall. Then suddenly, it stopped. Without realizing, they'd been holding their breath, All three exhaled shakily and glanced at each other. A muffled male voice broke the silence.
Oh, okay, good. I was worried for a second. Hello?
The final few footsteps reached the entrance above them, and the voice now echoed down the stairs.
Anyone down there?
The three kids shuffled to the corners without a peep. As he began to descend the stairs, the man's voice punctuated every new step. Thump,
Yoo-hoo! I'm not here to hurt anyone.
thump,
I'm just here to help. I just...
thump. At the bottom step, the man paused, squinting to search the room for signs of life.
Huh. Guess it's nothing.
Rollo shifted suddenly. Luca gave him an intense, chastising look and whispered through clenched teeth.
Rollo, don't.
It was too late. Rollo was already inching toward the stairway. He screeched as he charged toward the shadowy figure.
Oh, Rollo. Flaming chicken coop!
With all his weight, Rollo tackled the man to the ground.
Rollo? Mysterious creepy man? Anyone there?
From the dark corner, they saw something move.
Well, I didn't know if I had it in me, but there was only one way to find out. Holy crap, Rollo. That was awesome. Wait, did you just kill that person?
Luca scrambled to the hunched figure on the ground. Pressing his fingers to the man's neck, he sighed with relief.
You sure clobbered him good, Rollo. He's knocked out cold.
As Beck flicked back on the light, Luca and Rollo both gasped in stereo.
Mr. Tolliver!
Chapter 7.
All right, we're going to take a real quick break. It's not going to be a long dinner break because we're only going to be streaming for about 2 more hours, give or take. So, I'm going to put us here on this screen. We're going to play some music, and I'm going to maybe make another cup of tea, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And we are back. Feel like I'm constantly waiting for the beat to drop with this song. Also, hello, cool guy, not fool guy. Welcome on in. Hope you all had a nice break. Olsen, if you're still here, take care. Have a great rest of your day. We're gonna get back to Beacon Pines. I got more tea. It's brewing at the moment. So I'm kind of waiting for it to finish steeping. And then I can possibly enjoy it. All right, chapter 7, let's go.
The interrogation of Hiram Tolliver.
Oh gosh.
Still unconscious, Mr. Tolliver slumped heavily in a shoddy old chair. His hands were bound with rope, his feet tied with some loose string. The kids huddled in a circle, discussing their plan. One thing was certain, they couldn't just let Mr. Tolliver go. They needed to know what he was doing in Luca's house. After some deliberation, it was decided.
They'd run the classic good cop, hard cop, or good cop, chill cop. Let's do hard cop.
They'd run the classic good cop, hard cop interrogation. Rollo brandished a steely gaze. I've got this. Read about it 100 times. Rollo swaggered past the chair which propped up the slumping Hiram Tolliver. Without even looking at his captive, he began with a long, blustery drawl.
Well, 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 Mr. Tolliver.
An oven roasted turkey sub with lettuce, cheese, tomato, and honey mustard. That sounds good.
Mr. Tolliver remained motionless. Rollo spun around to face him. He'd clearly expected to rouse Mr. Tolliver with his booming voice.
Mr. Tolliver?
Beck and Luca gave each other an unsure glance. Rollo slammed his fist on the table.
I said, Mr. Tolliver!
He grabbed the table lamp and beamed it onto the unconscious face. Mr. Tolliver groaned and slowly lifted his head. He recoiled with a muddled, weary squint.
Oh, what in the world?
The chair wobbled as he attempted to straighten up.
Who's there?
Mr. Tolliver could only make out rough shapes through the glaring light. With a gruff tone, Rollo hoped to both conceal his voice and intimidate.
I'll be asking the questions here, punk.
Now, hold on, let's just calm down.
Oh, I am calm. Calm as a carrot in dirt. As for you, looks like you're sweating.
The full expression on Beck and Luca's faces transformed into awe.
We can do this my way, or let's just say I've never needed another way.
Rollo, hitting his stride, was now channeling every detective trope his memory could recall. He slammed the table again.
Now dance! What? I don't even...
Tolliver's voice became desperate. He was nearly in tears.
You've tied me down. How on earth could I dance? Dance with your mouth, punk. Spill the beans! What are you doing poking around this house? I'm here to help Juniper. To make sure everything's ready. Oh, so you're in cahoots with Gran. Gran?
Mr. Tolliver was in a daze, now more confused than ever.
Oh, goodness. Decided to get something different from my usual meatball sub. I do like a good meatball sub.
Gonna help her blow up the festival, huh?
Blow up the festival? Good lord!
His head, feeling more and more dizzy.
No, you've got it all wrong!
Where is she now?
She's headed to the source, of course! We knew it.
Source? What's the source?
It's where
His voice faded to a whisper.
the town began. Where it all began.
What is Operation Sparkplug?
That, Mr. Tolliver passed out cold.
Well, we got some good info.
A repentant grimace.
Damn, Rollo! I think you went a little too hard on him. What did he say about the source? It's where the town began?
We need more information.
Yeah, but we better not push Mr. Tolliver any farther. Is there anyone else who might know more? Yeah, that's fair, Ori.
Oh, what about the History Museum? It just got set up for the festival.
No, that tent was put up by the Valentines. Everything they do is just a bunch of fluff to glorify themselves. Is there anything more reliable? The library. Ooh, maybe this is where we're going to get the charm that Cerrone mentioned. If there's any information about this source thing, Cato can help us find it. Let's go get some answers.
Oh, the cobs I've eaten. A salad-centric travel guide for the mildly adventurous.
Yuck.
Sally Seashore's simple succulent sundries. Luca brushed off a smudge of dust. Or maybe it was flour. 30 recipes so easy you'll doubt it's even edible.
Oh, we got succulent. Okay.
A peek behind the curtain. The methods and ruminations of Patrick C. Montesquieu. One of the greatest acting minds of our time.
Cato is adorable.
Patrick C. Montesquieu.
Ugh.
Mycological phosphorescence.
Glowing fungus. More like my complete loss of interest.
The bottom corner shelf was a dusty array of thick science books. Only one binding was clean enough to read. Cellular Biology and the Chemistry of Mitosis.
Boring. We just got the nerd achievement for looking at all the books. This is a dang nice library. Thanks, we work hard on it. Aren't you a little young to be a librarian? Oh, Cato hung out here so much they gave him a set of keys. I just keep an eye on the place for Ms. Novak sometimes. They got you working for free? It's quiet and I get access to all the books I can read. What more can a person want? Fair enough. What can I do for you all? We need a favor. I already told you and Rollo, I can't put you any higher on the wait list for the next Hank Atomic. And if you're here with more candy, I'll have you know I can't be bought. Call it a personal code of conscience. Actually, we're looking to do some research. Now you're speaking my language. What are you looking for? That's the thing, we sort of don't know.
What do you got on the history of the town?
There's the county record archives. What's in those? Births, deaths, newspaper clippings, stuff like that. Pretty boring reading, but they do go all the way back to when the town was founded. Great, we'll start there. These kids are going to be so bored. Also, my tea is probably done steeping, so let me take care of my tea bag real quick before it oversteeps and gets real bitter. Into the trash with you. All right.
6 feet under, 3 towns over. The kids spent the rest of the afternoon combing through dusty piles of old county records, desperately searching for anything that could help them make sense of Mr. Tolliver's cryptic utterance. Luca tried to shake the thought of Gran's basement, but his focus wavered. Explosives, messages hidden in jam, dossiers on various town figures, and a corkboard threaded with photos. Gran was the only family he had left. He still couldn't bring himself to believe the worst. But the old map with the symbol of explosives in town square made that difficult. As the sun began to set, the kids were no closer to the truth.
If I have to read any more records, my eyeballs are gonna pop.
We have to keep digging.
If I dig another word, I'm gonna end up in one of those asinine death records.
That's a big word for a 12-year-old.
Rollo Cotter lived a full and wonderful life. Till he read so much boring crud that his brain oozed out of his ears.
Rolo shut his book with an assertive nod.
If you got a better idea, spit it out.
You sound like my sister. Keep pushing your luck, pal. And it won't be boring county records that kills you. I'll put you in the obituaries myself.
Rolo muttered under his breath.
You're a county record.
Really? That's the best you got? When I'm done with you, you'll be the footnote in history. Just like
Beck slammed her finger down on the open page before glancing.
J. Hartford here. Hey, what'd I miss? We found Grand's secret, basement? She had a secret door hidden in her she had a hutch that she brought with her when she moved in. It's concealing a secret door to the basement. And we went down there and she's got explosives and a map of the town with an explosive symbol on town square. So the kids are theorizing that she's gonna blow up the festival. But you were here with the duplicate town, right? She's actually gonna take those explosives and blow up the source, and we don't know why. We don't know if she realizes that that's gonna make everything worse. So we don't know if she's like trying to activate the source with bombs or if she's trying to destroy it. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions still.
I'd love to see you try.
Hey! We're all a little tired here. Let's just take a minute and...
Something tickled the back of Luca's mind.
Wait, what was that name, Beck? In the obit? J. Hartford. From the Brookville Tribune 20 years ago. That can't be right.
What is it?
J. Hartford. That's my grand's name, Juniper Hartford. Yeah, so our suspicion that our grand is not our grand, I think, is now confirmed. So now is she... Sandguard had the theory that she's actually our mom and is time travel shenanigans. For, like, maybe our mom went through a bunch of time travel shenanigans and is now posing as our grand because she's old now. The other theory is that she's just using Juniper's identity as a way to infiltrate the town. Got the tail... Missed the tail end of it, but I got it. Gotcha. Maybe there were 2 J. Hartfords? Mrs. Hartford is survived by her young daughter, E. Hartford. My mom's name is Eleanor. Okay, this is getting creepy. If your gran is 6 feet under 3 towns over, then who am I living with?
The question hung in the air.
Or mom got exposed to the goo and now looks older because it did the same thing to Beck's hair. I mean, I would count that as time travel shenanigans because the goo affects time. Or your relationship with time or that sort of thing. Yeah. But I would also, yeah, I think that's also a possibility for sure. All right, gang, I gotta close up for the night.
Beck rubbed her eyes.
How late is it?
It's almost 10.
Oh, crap.
Pa's gonna kill me. I gotta go.
Can the goo reverse time or just age stuff? We don't know yet. So far we've seen the goo. The goo does 2 things. It absorbs massive amounts of energy from anything around it, which is why it's making everything cold. Whenever we see the goo, it's always got like crystals of frost around it because it's so endothermic that it just needs to suck all the heat around to like power itself. But also, whenever we've seen anyone come in contact with goo, for example, Beck, our black cat friend in the middle, when her hair got exposed to the goo, it turned gray. When we shoved Iggy, the bully, into the goo, it's hard to explain what happened to him, but I guess like the parts of his body that were touched by the goo seemed to age when the rest of him didn't. At first I thought it was just mutating him, but now it's gotta have been aging him. So it seems like it accelerates the time. Oh my gosh, it's gotta just accelerate it, right? Okay. My brain is making realizations. They're a fertilizer company. They're about growing plants. So, of course they want to try to speed up how fast they grow by using this weird time shit, right? Hey, HD. Like speed grow in Stardew, except way worse. Homemade potato crisps. That sounds amazing, Sarone. I gotta go. Yeah, my parents will be worried sick. Okay, let's meet up as early as we can at the festival tomorrow. Well, what are you gonna do about that unconscious man in your basement? Just dropping in to say hi. I appreciate it, HD. I'll think of something.
Luca's heart was pounding as he approached the house. If he was lucky, Gran, or whoever it was, hadn't gotten back yet. And of course, there was Mr. Tolliver tied up and unconscious in the basement. Dealing with him would be the first order of business. Luca shook out his arms to calm his nerves before entering.
Oh no.
He held perfectly still, tempering his breath, and listened closely. She was asleep. His only hope was that she hadn't found Mr. Tolliver before dozing off.
A what in your basement? So, this is a long story, Crit. We found a secret door that led to the basement where our quote-unquote Gran, spoilers, she's not actually our grandmother. She's not related to us at all. Or she might be. She could be our mom who was exposed to goo, or she could just be some random lady. I don't know. But we found her secret, like, conspiracy basement where she's planning on blowing up something in the center of town. So we did a panic because we're like, holy crap, our grandmother's a terrorist. And then Mr. Tolliver shows up in the basement. So we panicked and knocked him out and tied him to a chair and interrogated him about why he was going to blow up the town. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Mr. Tolliver was nowhere to be seen.
Maybe he woke up, escaped from his bindings, and left without a trace.
Maybe Gran knew everything.
What do I do?
Luca's hungry stomach groaned. Not realizing it, he'd gone the entire day without eating.
Okay, I can figure this out. I just need a little brain food.
Luca rushed over to the pile of jam jars, unscrewed one, and shoveled a handful into his mouth.
I'm afraid your jam delivery will be
He
delayed.
flipped the lid to read the label.
Mr. Nuncreed. Oh no. What if it's poison? Okay, now I can think. I'm really worried. What is in this jam? If Gran knows we tied up Mr. Tolliver, I'm screwed. If she doesn't know, then I need to play it cool. I guess the only option is to go to bed and act as if nothing's wrong? I don't think Mr. Tolliver finished what he was sent to do and left when he was done. But I can't close the thing. Nuncre's the enemy? I know. It really worries me. And now I'm wondering, or remember how we were really like creeped out by Mr. Nuncreed before? What if his interest in Juniper isn't because he thinks she's hot, but because he's onto her? Gran's gone. Oh no. Gran? Okay. Stick to the plan. Go to bed. And play it cool.
As Luca climbed the final stair, the emotion of the day dragged heavily on him. With each consecutive step, his legs weakened.
Oh,
His
because
stride began to falter.
it was poisoned. He ate poison jam.
He tried to grab for the railing to steady himself. Something was wrong.
Come on, legs. Just a few more steps.
Luca groaned and tried to move.
Hope everyone's day is going well, and if not, I hope it gets better. My day's going pretty good. I hope yours is okay. I'm just hoping it's like sleeping pills and not like a deadly poison.
His limbs might as well have been bolted to the ground. Through numb lips, he mumbled just before falling asleep.
The gym? This has got to be great, quote unquote, Gran, right?
Sweet boy, what did you get yourself into? Rest now and let me handle everything.
What if it is our mom?
Chapter 9. A speech to end all speeches.
Even though we know there's no major risk from dying, it's still worrying. Yeah, it is worrying. This story is very compelling.
Luca awoke to find himself face down in bed. He moaned into his pillow. Why would Gran drug him?
I mean, to be fair, she wasn't trying to drug you.
Or rather, why was she trying to drug Mr. Nuncreed?
Better question.
Shaking the questions from his woozy head, Luca snapped back to the matter at hand.
The festival! Where have you been? Gran put something in the jam? Yeah, we know. Secret messages for secret conspirators. Not this one. The one intended for Mr. Nuncreed. Put me to sleep.
Whoa, ho, ho. Sly devil.
I think she's trying to remove him from the equation. He might be in danger. Let him be. Sorry. Have you found anything? We looked around, but we haven't seen anything odd. Your Gran's nowhere to be found. Yeah, it's almost like it's the wrong town or something.
Whoa!
This be another charm for the one with the phone booth? Probably.
But Mr. Nuncreed is just loafing around waiting for the speech.
What speech? Mayor Gus just got up to the podium. Everyone's gathering at the stage.
Let's get moving.
Augustus Valentine nervously wiped his brow.
Is this thing? Hello, Beacon Pines.
Maybe for the interrogation? Possibly. I was also thinking, but I don't think that there's enough branches for it. When dealing with Rollo's sister, to be a little chill, to be a little shit, or to be a little sly could work there, but I don't think that there's enough branches for it to make sense.
I'm Augustus Valentine, your mayor, and I suppose you already know that. Oh yes, before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize someone who couldn't be here today. This town wouldn't be where it is today without my father, Sharper Valentine. So I thought we could begin with a round of applause befitting such a great man.
What was his voice? I don't remember. The character design in this is very good.
Even that's more than old Carter deserved!
Gus cleared his throat and awkwardly loosened his tie.
Right, where was I?
Kerr bounded on the stage with the energy of a preacher at a big tent revival.
Gus Valentine, everyone!
Gave Gus a hearty slap on the back and motioned him off the stage.
Let's hear it for our mayor. What a great turnout. Aw, heck. I didn't prepare anything, but I suppose I could say a few words. Would be a shame to waste such a beautiful podium.
Mr. Kerr pulled a thick stack of note cards out from his vest.
Community, conviction, commitment. Yeah, they're kind of the big villain of the story. These are the things we celebrate at Perennial Harvest. For us, these are the pillars of a bridge to a better tomorrow. But I think it's time to add a new pillar. Change. Change is a powerful thing. It's inexorable, unavoidable, and undeniable. And I am dadgum thankful for it. Change is the reason we're all together today. It's hard for me to believe that it was only 4 years ago when fate brought me here. A simple business trip which brought me to a small town which would change my life forever. Exactly, Cerrone.
Mr. Kerr took a moment to survey the crowd.
You know what?
He wiped away a single tear.
From the second I set foot in Beacon Pines, something about this place held me captive. You see, change represents opportunity. It represents potential. It was change that helped me recognize the potential of this place. To see the people of this great town, despite suffering great loss, still held on to the things that made them special. Also, Cerrone has redeemed our pronouns redemption, so if you feel comfy and you'd like to, put your pronouns in chat. My pronouns are she, her, and Cerrone's are she, her.
He thumped the podium to emphasize each word.
Community, conviction, commitment, change.
Mr. Kerr nodded confidently, biting his lip. The crowd was silent, in rapt attention.
Fate made a perfect match that day. Nothing is more important to you all than community. And Perennial Harvest is a community, first and foremost.
Mr. Kerr methodically made eye contact with each section of the crowd.
The only way you made it through the foul harvest was an unshakable conviction. A conviction that a better tomorrow was just over the horizon. Perennial Harvest was founded on the conviction that we are that horizon. This festival is a symbol of our commitment to each other.
His voice began to build to a crescendo.
We now walk hand in hand into a future that we will shape together. And that is what change is all about. Grabbing the future by the scruff of the neck and making things happen. Change is a choice. I am tickled pink that we will all be making that choice together. How great is that? Just imagine what we can accomplish. On that note, HD uses he, him, and Cool Guy is also he, him. What's that?
The crowd began to look around nervously.
Don't worry, a little thunder isn't gonna ruin this day. Everyone remain calm, we're all gonna turn into ice. Ori uses they, them. Heck yeah.
Mr. Kerr quickly flicked through his note cards.
Where was I? Through all my travels, I have learned one true thing. One always reaps what they sow. We all have planted a lot of good in this town. Hey, Atomica. And so it is with a happy heart that I can proclaim,
He raised his hands up to the heavens.
our harvest awaits. Yeah. Good job, Gran.
At that moment, a merciless wall of impossibly cold air ripped through the crowd, instantly freezing everyone and everything it touched. For a man like William Kerr, this was a fitting way for things to end. On a stage, with an entire town frozen in rapt attention for the rest of time. The end. There's that ice again! Whenever I think we're getting close, it comes along and ruins everything! Maybe we should just quit? Maybe you should just close the book, walk away, and never think of me again. No, I don't mean that. We got a little closer this time. We just need to try again. Please.
Oh, so that's for use at the cop. Interesting. Yeah, because having Sly in his eyes doesn't make sense. So yeah, the only thing we have left now is to try the other cop options. Interesting. Atomica uses he, him. And that's where I'm going to end that. I want to see what Chill Cop does.
They'd run the classic good cop, chill cop interrogation.
I'll handle this. Just gotta play it cool.
Luca walked
Hey,
calmly
Sylvia.
to the light switch, flicking it off and on a few times. Mr. Tolliver shook his head, gathering his wits.
Sylvia also uses she, her. Golly, I sure had my bell
He
rung.
looked over to find Luca, who returned a calming grin.
Sorry, Mr. Tolliver. This was all a big mistake. Luca, what's going on here? Why do you have me strapped down? No one's fault, really. Rolo just got a little startled. Rolo's here.
Rolo and Beck emerged from hiding to give a timid wave.
Well, all right. Mistakes happen. You kids gave old Hiram a good scare. Let's just get me out of these ropes and call it even.
Luca glanced over to Rolo and Beck, who replied with skeptical looks.
Mr. Tolliver, why are you in my grand's basement? Atomica, this is not a mature audience stream. I try to keep swearing to a minimum. I'm here to help, of course. Help with what? What's my gran up to? If you'll just cut me loose, I can show you. How do I know we can trust you?
Mr. Tolliver exhaled with disappointment.
Well, the charms is literally shit. That's true. That's why I said to a minimum, not completely excised. Oh, look at the rainbow heart. I like the rainbow heart a lot. Luca, have I ever done wrong by you? No. And since your gran moved to town, haven't I been nothing but welcoming? Yeah.
So why would I turn my back on your family now?
It's just... all this stuff seems pretty weird. More rainbow hearts? More rainbow hearts! Oh, I love that. A board with names of people from town? An archive of my dad's old disturbing patient
Luca
notes.
gestured to the corner.
Barrels of explosives.
I can explain everything. You just need to untie me. You kids deserve an
Luca
explanation.
looked again to Rollo and Beck. This time they shrugged. Luca began to slowly loosen the bindings.
I'm worried.
Mr. Tolliver gently rubbed his wrists.
That's a good lad. This will all make sense in time. Of course you're leaving!
He edged imperceptibly toward the stairs as he spoke.
You see, this town has secrets, Luca.
Additional pronouns have I identify as attack helicopter energy. Yeah, I'm also kind of, that's also kind of what I was feeling too. I know it wasn't like intentional, but yeah.
A very dark past indeed.
Before the kids had even noticed his movement, Mr. Tolliver was at the light switch.
A past that must be brought to
Punctuated his final words by flicking the switch and rushing up the stairs.
light. Son of a...
He darted to the wall and turned back on the lights. It was too late.
Honestly do identify as a cat sometimes, kindred spirits. Not completely a joke. I'm very abrasive and yeah, that's fair. I know. I don't know. I get what I get where you both are coming from.
Rollo confirmed what they all heard.
Yeah, we're trapped in here, aren't we?
He just locked us down here.
Mr. Tolliver's muffled voice came from behind the door.
I wasn't lying, you know. This is for your own good.
You're gonna murder us in this basement. Accidentally.
You kids just keep tight down there and let the adults handle this.
No, because you're gonna mess everything up.
They looked bewildered at each other.
Play it cool, huh? Even being honest about it just now caused people to think of me as a thing they're mad at me for saying I am. I don't think anyone's mad at you. Like being autistic and knowing cats very well, it's hard to put into words. No worries. I think everyone's cool. I'm just partially, I don't know. I don't want to get into it right now. Never really felt human. That is fair. Not now, Beck.
They heard the staccato thump of quick steps exiting the house. The kids looked down in resignation. This isn't how it goes in Hank Atomic. For some reason, they'd always assumed it was up to them to save their town.
Hey, Arl Pop.
Luca opened his mouth, hoping to conjure some magical words to make this right. Only a hollow croak escaped. The end. Well, we certainly aren't going to find a grand resolution to our tale locked in a basement.
Yep, I believe you, Atomica. Going all right. How are you?
Back to the drawing board.
All right. I think our only option now is to be Sly Cop. Yep. Ooh, is Sly gonna be back? I think Sly's gonna be back.
They'd run the classic good cop, sly cop interrogation. Luca and Rollo ducked behind a barrel, leaving Beck to her task. With a few crisp snaps, she roused Mr. Tolliver.
What's going on here? You're that Maudwell girl.
Please, Call me Beck. Sorry about all
Mr.
this.
Tolliver looked down and shifted a bit, testing his restraints.
I know I look like a girl in was AFAB, but I think we can wear and be into whatever things we like. I'd agree. It seems there's been a mix-up. You see, I'm down here for the same reason you are. Oh my gosh, Beck is so good at this. Juniper sent you here?
Beck caught herself before letting the surprise manifest on her face. She'd already gotten him to reveal his relation to Gran. This was gonna be easy.
You know how Juniper is with her precautions. Operation Sparkplug has us all on edge. I guess she thought you need some backup.
But she sent a child.
What better way to avoid prying eyes? Who would suspect a kid?
I suppose that makes sense.
Mr. Tolliver wriggled a bit in his restraints.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Beck quickly removed the ropes.
That had to be uncomfortable.
A little, yeah.
But you understand. We never know who to trust in this town.
Mr. Tolliver rubbed the growing knot on his forehead.
Very true.
So it turns out we're both here to...
Beck twirled her hand, as if to prompt Mr. Tolliver to finish her thought.
Destroy the evidence.
Oh no. What's this game about? Oh gosh. So... a conspiracy, I guess? Basically, it's like Stranger Things meets Winnie the Pooh is what a bunch of people kind of compare it to. It's got like the aesthetic of the cute animals and stuff. Town is weird. There's a fertilizer that ages stuff and we're trying to figure it out. Yeah, that sums up the story pretty well. But also, the interesting thing, and I'm going to hit this real quick. Oh, yeah. Is that we're doing a branching narrative. And you can see on the right, there's these little cards that have words on them. We're using these little cards, they're called charms, to change the narrative. So different things happen and we build more branches. So for example, this is the chill branch and this is the shit branch. And then here, when we did change, we ended the branch, but this is the struggle branch. So we're just kind of like slowly growing this tree and exploring different branches. And then each place that the branch ends is an ending. And so far, they've all been bad. Every single branch ends badly. But we're trying to find the one branch that leads to not a bad ending. Don't take this in too weird of a way, but that hashtag RAR? I don't understand. Oh, branch options. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, girls in suits hashtag. That makes sense.
Beck shook her head and clicked her tongue.
Yep. The old gal is nothing if not thorough.
Mr. Tolliver let out an amused huff in agreement.
She sure is. Can't blame her, though. If anyone were to find out we're gonna destroy the source, well, we both know how bad that might be.
No one will know anything once I finish cleaning things up down
Beck
here.
was on a roll now, playing Mr. Tolliver like a fiddle.
You sure you can finish this up on your own?
Juniper trusted me for a reason. You can leave the rest to me.
Good. There is one more loose end I'll go work on.
Loose end?
Oh, it's nothing really. The other day I had the radio scan while restocking the candy shelf. And wouldn't you know it, I intercepted an odd phrase in a perennial harvest transmission. Underground secrets.
That's ominous.
I think it might be a password, but Juniper dismissed it. Said it wasn't mission critical.
What's the password for? Think of getting gender envy from Beck? Beck is wonderful.
We don't know.
So we have a password and nowhere to put it.
It's gotta mean something, right?
Good thinking. You should probably work that out. I got this under control.
That's a relief. Between you and me, this basement gives me the willies.
Heading for the stairs, Mr. Tolliver hesitated and turned to Beck with a puzzled look. She grinned and gave him a peppy wave. With a shrug, he continued up the stairs, whistling a jaunty tune.
You guys catch that?
Sure did. This whole time Mr. Tolliver's had a candy shelf, but all he ever sells us is apples.
Beck blinked slowly in disappointment.
The password, Rollo.
Well, sure, but once things are back to normal, I'll be having a word with Mr. Tolliver about that candy shelf.
Fine. In the meantime, I've got an idea.
She turned to the table and began tearing small scraps of paper.
He said he heard a password on the radio. Any good spy transmission is never what it seems.
Beck marked each scrap of paper and leaned back.
You just need to find the hidden meaning. Okay. What's another word for underground? Buried, covered. Could it be a cover-up? Maybe it's one of those each letter is a number thingies? So U would be 21. N would be 14. D would be...
Ooh, it's an anagram. Nuncreed's drugstore.
Luca and Beck looked at Rollo with amazement.
Rollo? That was incredible.
Well, it's either that or Cred's new drugstore.
Yeah, I think you were right the first time. How did you do that?
Well, what can I say? I love ciphers.
Well, I guess we know where to go next. Oh no. Oh no, these kids. Well... You scared me half to death. Sorry. You kids haven't seen Mr. Tolliver around, have you? Nope. He's got me waiting around like the last slice of pie. I swear that man will be late to his own funeral. You're late, Augustus.
Sorry, sister. Was caught up with work.
Work? You?
I had a few more details to lock down for the festival.
Oh? What do you have to report? What is this insipid town festival really about?
I
Gus looked
think
around nervously.
Mr. Kerr really does just want to do something good for the town. He's actually a pretty nice guy. You should spend some time with him.
I didn't pull strings installing you as mayor so you could make friends. Your job is to help me figure out what Kerr and Perennial Harvest's true intentions are with this town. We have a responsibility. This is our father's town.
Was.
Excuse me?
This was our father's town.
Is this one of the Steam on the way demo games? No, it's fully released. We played Beacon Pines during the Big Adventure event. We played the demo of it, and it released, I want to say last week, maybe, no, like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, it's fully released now, and it's very good.
He's gone, Eris, and he isn't coming back. Father left us with nothing but problems. Mr. Kerr came here and offered to help us. We accepted that help.
We didn't agree to them turning Father's warehouse into a toxic dumping ground.
That's just a temporary arrangement.
The glow can be seen from our damned backyard. They are dumping their nasty little secrets on us.
When this all inevitably goes wrong, who do you think will be blamed?
Eris's cry hung in the air.
We have a new choice to make now, sister. This town is going to change whether we like it or not. Are we going to choose to be a part of that future or be forgotten in the past? It's a shame. Father named you Augustus, but you will always just be a Gus. Good night, Eris. I'll see you at breakfast tomorrow.
It's getting late, children. Knowledge, he spat with a sneer. There exists a gulf between knowing something and being able to do a damn thing about it. I do hate it when the villain makes a good point. Why does the mayor look like a divorced 45-year-old and Eris looks 30? Dunno. Stress, probably?
Solomon stood proudly at the entrance to the drugstore, holding a brown bag overflowing with black licorice.
Hey, Solomon. We're looking for Mr. Nuncreed. Is he still in there? I'm afraid not. Then where'd you get the candy from? You might say we have an arrangement.
Solomon shoveled a surprising amount of licorice into his mouth.
Sometimes it's the small pleasures in life. Though we might not always have family to rely on. Licorice has never let me down.
Well, I can't say licorice would be my first choice. But whatever floats your boat.
You can tell a lot about a person by their choice of confection.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I like sour gobs.
I'm certain you do. I always wondered why Mr. Nuncreed kept licorice in stock. You must eat enough of it to make it worthwhile. There are many ways to earn loyalty. For some, it's as easy as cold, hard cash. Well, he's right, it's locked. There's gotta be more clues. Okay, let's see.
Is it going to be the phone booth?
Have you ever seen anyone actually use this thing? Besides Mr. Nuncreed, no.
Beck cupped her hands on the glass to peek inside.
That is not a normal phone booth. It's got like a blinky keypad.
Why would there be a blinky keypad?
Kren's Nude Rug Store! Underground Secrets! The password!
Beck flung open the door and they all squeezed in.
All right, let's see
Luca
here.
cracked his knuckles and entered the letters into the keypad.
Underground Secrets. Sounds like that did something. Great, now what? I guess we... Wah!
The inside of the phone booth dropped loose from its shell. Without even the space to panic, they closed their eyes, held their breath, and accepted their fate. Suddenly, the chaotic descent slowed to an effortless landing. It was unclear where they ended up, but at least it was solid ground. The air was stagnant and smelled vaguely of chlorine.
I knew it! You knew there was a secret hub full of strange tubes underneath the phone booth? Kulan! Thank you so much for raiding! Welcome on in! Hello, raiders! My name is Estady. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a variety streamer, art streamer, and voice actress, and we're playing Beacon Pines for another 40-ish minutes. If y'all feel like it, put your pronouns in chat. Kulan, how is Yakuza? Also, if y'all aren't following Kulan, please follow Kulan. Wait, why is it saying I don't follow Kulon? I know I do. What? Weird. Making progress. Nice. But yeah, we are pretty deep into Beacon Pines right now. So maybe it made me unfollow you for some reason. I don't know. I know I've been following you though. Pretty sure anyway. But yeah, we're pretty deep into Beacon Pines right now. So if you are avoiding spoilers for this game, because it is a pretty story heavy game, this might be a good time to step out before we dig into what's going on. Have a good lurk, Terramex. But yeah, welcome on in, Raiders. I'm glad you had a good stream. Hey, Flyer Drake TV, welcome on in.
Of course I did. Didn't I say that?
No.
I definitely thought it. Luca, do you remember when I said how cool it would be if the trans-dimensional conduits from Hank Atomic issue 12 were real?
Rolo, at one point or another, you said that about every technology ever discussed in Hank Atomic.
Well, that's why I'm such a good predictor!
It looks like each of these has something written on them. All right, time to... The broken face mask! I mean, I can't do anything about that, Cerrone, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know why we're here. Maybe we're just in a laundromat. I don't know. Yeah, without context, it can't be that bad. But also, the broken face mask! This suit has a broken mask. So we found our mystery warehouse creeper? We've at least found their hazmat suit.
If it walks like a Nuncreed and talks like a Nuncreed.
I mean, let's not jump to conclusions.
Just saying.
Yeah, what if the person who tried to grab us... I bet it was Mr. Nuncreed. Oh, jeez. Mining Operations Alpha. You guys have mines here?
Not that I know of.
This town is all farms and fertilizer. And a series of tubes.
Paul always says you can only trust a miner up to the point when they hit gold.
Not sure how that wisdom applies in this exact situation.
That's the thing about Pa. You don't always realize what he means until it's too late.
Perennial Harvest main office. That's where my mom works? That means Nuncreed ended us / almost ended us twice. Yep. Yes, it's a cute sniffing for clues emote.
What does she do?
Science stuff. Is she involved in all of this? We just moved here. How could she be involved? True. Yeah, their tails move. Valentine Fertilizer Warehouse. Isn't that where you almost got snatched? Yeah. Why would Perennial Harvest have a tube going to the old Valentine place?
This is starting to feel like something big.
That's a lot of buttons.
Stand aside, Earthlings. I've read enough Hank Atomic to know my way around sci-fi tech.
Willow's hands hovered over the field of blinking buttons.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Rilla, what did you do?
Nothing! I didn't even mow yet! Oh, what was that?
Hide!
Where? There's nothing but weird tubes down here!
Just get back!
Shit. 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 Awesome! You all need to come with me now.
We aren't going anywhere with you. Not until we get some answers.
Mr. Underground Secrets. I told them it was an absurd password, but they love anything that makes them feel clever.
They who?
It's no matter. If I can keep you hidden until after the festival, I might be able to save your skins.
We don't care about our skins.
Well, hold on now, I like my skin.
This all stops now, Nuncreed.
Joseph waited for a moment in silence.
You sound just like him.
Who?
Walt.
You don't get to talk about my dad.
You know, your father and I were friends back
He
before
gestured toward the strange tubes.
all of this.
That's a lie.
It's true. I used to bounce you on my knee.
What happened?
Same thing that always happens. Reality, complications, life. We were a team, Walt and I. An idealistic doctor and a bright-eyed pharmacist. Both hell-bent on helping folks.
So you were like his sidekick?
No, we were partners. He helped the patients and I helped him.
Rollo, please.
Yep, total sidekick.
Nuncreed let out a growl of a sigh.
Luca, I need you to know this. I need someone to know this. One day Sharper Valentine comes to us. He says he's got an opportunity. He'd found something he didn't quite understand. And he was willing to pay us both handsomely to help him understand it.
And my dad said no?
Your father and I both believed in helping people. But the thing I could never get him to understand was, it's a lot easier to help others if you help yourself now and again.
Classic! Sidekick into villain plotline.
Walt loved being righteous almost more than he loved his family. He was wrong about one thing, though. When he begged me not to take Valentine's offer, he said, Joseph, if a person says yes one time to Sharper Valentine, he'll make sure they keep on saying yes to him until the day he is dead and gone.
He shook his head wistfully.
Sharper is long gone, but he's still got me saying yes.
Is there a point to the sob story?
Not really, no. Just an old man trying to delay what needs doing.
Nuncreed took a menacing step towards the children.
I tried to keep you safe. I tried to keep you and Juniper out of this. But you forced my hand.
Luca began to laugh.
What?
You really don't know. My Gran isn't out of this. She's been scheming right under your nose.
Juniper?
Seems like she's planning on crashing the town's party.
She's going to disrupt the festival. Why would she?
The color drained from Nuncreed's face.
How does she know?
Apparently, she knows a lot of things.
What?
He's always been Russian. Let's just say this isn't the only underground lair we've busted into today.
And honestly, hers is way cooler. She's got maps and explosives and bad intentions, big man.
Nuncreed grabbed Luca by the shoulders. His eyes were frantic.
This is the first time I've heard him on your stream. Yeah, when we first encountered him, I'm like, I need a voice for him. F it, he's Russian.
You need to tell me what she's going to do right now. She doesn't understand what it is she's messing with. Tell me now, she's in danger, boy.
I don't know. She had a map with a mark on it, the fountain in the town square.
The fountain? But why would...
A jolt of realization struck Mr. Nuncreed.
She knows about the source! What the heck is the source? If she tries to destroy the source, it could catalyze in... Dear God, she's going to freeze us all! She is. We've seen it happen twice now. You all need to run. Run where? Away. As far away from this town as you can get. Head west and don't look back. That did not go how I expected. So... We're totally following him, right? Totally. See you on the other side. You good? Yep. I love this town. I love Beck. Beck is so good.
The cold, hard truth. Beck leapt up, allowing the suction to yank her into the dark. Dimness eclipsed around her like the shutter of a camera as she seemed to cover great distance in mere moments. Her only points of reference were glints of upcoming turns, which approached with frightening speed, only to carom her gracefully along. She heard the tinny, distant echoes of Rollo's glee. Once she stopped fighting against it, the ride was impossibly smooth. Then, all of a sudden, as if minutes had passed in an instant, light blazed into view.
I know where we are now.
A burst of wintry air snuffed across her face, and she was flung out into the cold.
That was... intense? Yeah. I think I might have parred with some fluids in there. Any idea where we are? Somewhere cold. Doesn't look like it got any of us. I didn't feel like we traveled that far. So where did it all go? This place sucks. Why would anyone even want to blow something up out here? Only one way to find out, I suppose. We gotta catch up to Nuncreed. I think he went this way. This looks familiar, yeah. Maybe we can clear off the snow? No time, Nuncreed's getting away. Okay, this is starting to feel really familiar. I may not be the most well-versed on all things Beacon Pines, but this does look sort of like a frozen replica of the town. Ah, I got it! It's so obvious now! Mr. Nuncreed is an alien! Rollo. Stick with me here. His species can only live in sub-zero temperatures. Oh boy, here we go. The source is their base camp dimension, so naturally they keep it cold. We found it by traveling through those metallic wormholes back there. The final objective, kill us all and shapeshift into a Beacon Pine citizen of their choosing. You never really had me, but you very much lost me there. You get used to it. We should keep moving.
As they rounded the corner to the frozen town square, they spotted Mr. Nuncreed inching cautiously toward a pit at its center. He held his arms out gingerly, as if approaching a beast in the wild. Upon closing the distance, Luca recognized what Nuncreed was after. Gran stood confidently at the edge, one arm outstretched over the abyss. Nearby, a wheelbarrow had been emptied out. She held a lit torch, which flickered in the bitter wind.
Juniper? I don't know what you think you are doing, but I assure you this is not going to solve anything. If you drop that, you've doomed this whole town. Oh, it wasn't me who doomed this town. I've been watching you, Joseph. I know what you've done. You and your co-conspirators.
Gran? What's happening?
Luca, you and your friends need to leave right this moment.
Mr. Nuncreed turned back toward the kids, desperation in his eyes.
Listen to your grandma, Luca. This is between me and Juniper.
Owenbach held steadfast in awe. Luca approached closer. Mr. Nuncreed spun back toward Gran, his voice growing louder.
You've got it all wrong, Juniper. Just hand over that torch. You don't understand what you're doing. How could I possibly trust you to do the right thing? Walt told me everything. He trusted you and you betrayed that trust.
Who are you? Are you our mom?
Luca, did you know that this man's entire life is a lie? If it weren't for him, your father might still be alive.
Mr. Nuncreed winced with anguish. His voice hardened.
Your theory is super strong right now. But here's the thing. We had a thought while you were gone that kind of takes your theory and twists it a little bit. Rather than time travel shenanigans, what if she just got like attacked by like covered in the goop? What if she had a goop accident and it prematurely aged her? That's another thought. The goo, yeah. Who knows? We will by the end of this, I'm sure.
It's not
They
true.
both now yelled, not to each other, but at fate itself, making their peace with long-held burdens. The wind howled with encouragement.
Walt was like a brother to me. We just had different ideas about how to affect change. Very convenient that your way just happened to line your pockets. No, that's not fair.
Menaced at each other, both catching their breath. The moment balanced on a knife's edge.
Good night, Kulan. Sleep well. And again, thank you so much for raiding. Oh, it's choice time.
A blur of emotions and memories. Luca's mind flooded with questions. The wind calmed, as if to give him the stage.
And in the stillness, he began to... Let's start with a weep.
And in the stillness, he began to weep.
See you later, Crit.
It was all just too much. Falling to his knees, Luca whimpered softly. The tears crystallized as they hit the snow. Gran stared at Luca for a moment with warm sympathy, remembering why this was all necessary.
This'll all make sense soon, Luca.
It won't, because we'll all be dead.
And everything can go back to normal.
I mean, it's not going to.
I
She
promise.
stiffened up and brandished the torch at Mr. Nuncreed.
You can't hide behind those people any longer, Joseph. Once their precious source is destroyed, we'll see where their loyalties fall. Juniper,
Ignoring
don't!
his final plea, Gran flung the torch into the deep darkness. She smiled and exhaled in relief. Mr. Nuncreed moaned in resignation. The torch echoed as it ricocheted down the hole, punctuated with a thunderous thud.
You see, Joseph, I've learned one very important lesson in life. If you want things to change, then you must be willing to...
The ground shook her to silence. Gran only had time to spin around and run to Luca. Her attempt to shield him, an honorable but trifling act. Unflinching love, pitted against an unthinking horror, there was no contest. Her warm embrace froze in an instant.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry you got stuck in some ads, Sylvia.
That is where they remain, fixed in place, forever. And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene. In a town brought low by its secrets, sits the frozen statues of a misguided band of meddlers.
It actually seems like a weird time for them as well. They're much later than I would have expected. Sorry you got stuck in some ads, Sylvia. But yeah, basically she dropped in the torch and then it went zoom and froze everything because she doesn't understand how the source works.
The end. Well, that was dire.
I'm glad you could at least see what was going on, but I really hate how intrusive the ads are.
On the bright side, we finally figured out where all the ice is coming from. Now, we just need to find a way to deal with a mystic, unfathomable force of nature.
It was teeny, but I saw the torch throwing. I'm glad you could see that at least. All right, we're going to try this again, but with hum, and we'll see what happens.
And in the stillness, he began to hum. After the death of his father, Luca had trouble sleeping. Each night, his mother would sit at the foot of his bed and hum a gentle melody.
Saint, I think this is her mom.
It was the only thing that could calm his mind. The only thing that, however briefly, could make it all seem okay. That melody pervaded every memory Luca had of his mother. Shivering in the raw snow, he began to hum it out loud. Gran lowered the torch, listening closely.
Yeah, it's actually humming.
As recognition slowly set in, her heart sank. Those countless nights of consolation, the incomparable loss they shared together. She let the torch fall to the snow and sizzle out. A few steps toward Luca was all she could bear before dropping to the snow herself. Through a flood of tears, she began to hum along. Luca lifted his head in astonishment. The last time he heard that melody was the last night he saw his mother.
How do you know?
I'm so sorry, my little buckaroo.
Buckaroo? The only people who call me that are my dad and...
Your mother.
Luca blinked through blurry, watery eyes, trying to see more clearly. He could just make out the impression of a familiar face. He peered across the snowscape at the woman on her knees. Something about her was undeniably his mother. Only smaller, older, changed.
Mom?
That's right, buckaroo.
Mom!
Luca sprinted as fast as he could toward his mother. They held each other close, and the cold retreated from their bodies.
Eleanor, I thought you were gone. You should have known I would never abandon my son.
Eleanor looked down at Luca, tightening her embrace in an appeal for forgiveness.
How? You're a smart man, Joseph. I thought you'd have pieced it together by now. You were exposed.
Mom, I don't understand any of this. What happened to you? Where did you go? Why did you leave me?
I never left you. I was always right here, Luca.
Why did you lie to me?
It tore me up, Luca, but I did it to keep you safe. I thought that getting answers would help us both move on. But the more I discovered, the more I realized the danger we were in. Until Perennial Harvest was stopped, it was better if everyone thought I was gone.
You could have trusted me.
These are bad people, Luca. They won't stop until they get what they want. And they don't care who gets hurt in the process.
And what do we do? We have to stop them.
Joseph slumped into the cold, wet snow.
They can't be stopped. This is too big. I tried beating them at their own game. I'm done fighting fire with
For
fire.
the first time in a long time, her voice felt like her own again.
No more lies. I see now there's a better way to stop Perennial Harvest. The cold, hard truth.
Luca gazed down at Nuncreed with pity. He looked small. Joseph stared into the snow, as if searching it for answers.
Come on, everyone, we've got a party to crash. You don't understand. He always wins.
Chapter 9. The Devil You Know.
Uh-oh.
7 months ago, Eleanor Van Horn crept down the maze of sterile hallways under Perennial Harvest. She stopped in front of the large steel door marked Deep Engineering.
So this is just before she disappeared.
No turning back now. She raised a trembling hand. The stolen keycard worked as promised, and the door bust open with mechanical efficiency. She was immediately hit with the smell of disinfectant. It was some sort of laboratory. In one corner was a desk covered in papers. Across the room stood a tall metal pod with hoses protruding from its base. She rushed to the desk and began shifting through the piles of papers. They were experiment reports on something called Tempus Liquamen.
I mean, that's probably liquamine, but okay. That's the time goo.
There were dozens of them, every one stamped failed. Eleanor heard the sharp echo of footsteps approaching. She was out of time. Her eyes scanned the room, eventually landing on the strange pod. Muttering a curse under her breath, she dashed over and dove inside.
Uh-oh. And that is what change is all about. Grabbing the future by the scruff of the neck and making things happen. Change is a choice. I am tickled pink that we will all be making that choice together. How great is that?
This man is a liar.
Excuse me?
I will not. This town has a dangerous secret, and Perennial Harvest only exists to keep it hidden.
Nonsense.
They picked up the whole damn town and moved it right under our noses.
You aren't making any sense,
Mr.
dear.
Kerr addressed the crowd with a sarcastic tone.
Imagine such a thing. It's absurd and just plain impossible.
They promised they could fix the foul harvest. They told us they would clean this place up. We just had to leave town for a few days, but while they had us evacuated...
Mrs. Hartford, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to.
You're afraid of a lot of things, aren't you? You sniveling little worm.
This is growing tiresome. A little help, please.
Don't you all see this festival is a sham? An excuse to have the whole town gather in one place. They're planning something awful. I don't know what, but these people are wicked.
Don't listen to her. She has absolutely no proof.
I am the proof. I'm Eleanor Van Horn!
Whispers filtered through the crowd.
Well, aren't you just sneaky as the dickens?
We all knew Valentine's fertilizer was too good to be true, and now this whole town is paying the price.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry about this disruption. My associates will take this obviously disturbed woman somewhere comfortable so that she can get the help she needs.
She is not the one who is disturbed. You two-timing clown. You all know there's something wrong with this town. It was just easier to look the other way. The truth is...
Solomon, what are you doing?
That's quite enough, Mr. Nuncreed.
Torment dragged on Joseph Nuncreed's face.
Oh my gosh! Wait! This kid! No! What's his name? He's the founder! Of course he is! Yes, the time goop was for the fertilizer, and it made things grow quicker, but yeah, as soon as you said wait, it hit me too.
Yes, sir.
Take them away.
No, I want them to see this. Ah, the ever-tempestuous Eleanor Van Horn. You've been quite the thorn in my side. Like a weed that's burrowed in where it doesn't belong.
It's also literally time liquid, yeah.
I must confess, you look dreadful.
He paused for a moment, plucking a piece of fuzz from his sweater and discarding it to the ground.
Consider yourself rare company. You've managed to pull one over on me. It won't happen again. I knew you'd had some sort of plan to disrupt our little party. But alas, I expected something a bit more impressive than incoherent rambling.
Well, to be fair, there was something more impressive, but it literally murdered everyone, so...
No matter, your failures are yours to bear. Mr. Kerr?
Yes, sir.
It's a shame it was cut short, but thank you for that rousing oratory. I will take it from here.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. It was the sort of apocalypse of ice, so yeah. I love this. I do too. Like they're doing such a good job of making this mystery very satisfying, seeding just enough hints that you realize what's going on before they unveil it, but still keeping it a mystery. It's very good. It's very well done.
You've done quality work for me, William. You can look forward to the recompense we agreed upon.
Kerr gave a bow of deference.
Founder, you are most gracious.
Gasps rippled through the crowd.
Thankfully, we can dispense with the formalities from here on out.
Solomon pulled a glass vial from his pocket. In one smooth motion, he downed its contents. A triumphant smile grew across Solomon's lips.
You can all call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist. A hushed horror gripped the crowd. This is a story about change.
What? No!
Ah, so you didn't see that coming. Good.
Sharper examined his new hands.
Well, this is quite the improvement. Everything looks so much smaller now. Eleanor was right about one thing. Yeah, apparently it can. It gives you complete control over the aging process, I guess. This festival was a ruse. I wanted you all to witness my glorious return with your own eyes. Why does everyone look so downtrodden? This is a celebration, people. Maybe it would help if we set the mood. Mr. Kerr, be a dear and reveal the sign. I hate it. Ha! Wonderful.
Sharper choked out a crude squawk of a laugh. Frustrated grumbles sprinkled through the crowd.
Sharper, you malicious bastard!
Malice.
I'm glad you're back so I can tell you to your face. You destroyed this town. We ain't gonna let you get away with it again.
Sorry, this is not the time for our audience participation. Some assistance, Mr. Kerr.
William Kerr gave a subtle nod to the clipboards.
You coward!
Does anyone else have something to
A
contribute?
helpless quiet settled over the crowd.
I thought so. Did you all truly believe you could be free of me? A town of complete and utter fools. The people should be celebrating my return. You're clearly lost without me. And that leads me nicely to my children. Oh no, guys.
Daddy?
I gave you both the greatest gift a parent can give. The opportunity to prove yourselves in my absence. Squandered. To say I am disappointed would be an understatement.
But I...
Silence, Augustus, the adult is speaking. I don't know which is worse, a son who is completely hopeless, or an adult with such potential who inevitably lets me down. Eris, you failed me with admirable consistency. Thankfully, I was counting on it this time. Father, I have been wasting time, my dear. What have you accomplished? I was focused on cementing our legacy. Legacy? Who needs a legacy when you can just live forever? But what about... It's all right, kiddo. I'm afraid you suffer from a complete lack of imagination. There's just no helping it. Now then, where is Joseph? You didn't take the opportunity to slip off, did you? Ha! There he is. Everyone should give him a hand. It is a wonderful turn of phrase. None of this would have been possible without Joseph. I think you've said enough. Nonsense. The people deserve to know how helpful and loyal you've been. I only did what I did because he left me no choice. You always had a choice, Joseph. You were simply too weak to take it. Maybe. No matter, cheer up. You're about to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. You should follow Mr. Kerr's example. When I found him, he was in a sorrier state than any of you. An aging actor desperate to recapture his youth. He played his part, and soon he'll be able to play the leading man again. Forever, in fact, if he remains loyal. That goes for all of you. Well, those who haven't already frittered away my goodwill. Beacon Pines is mine again. And I am willing to share its spoils in exchange for absolute loyalty. Well, okay, so Sharper was already basically in charge of the original Beacon Pines. And then there was the big accident that caused the foul harvest, and Sharper died, quote unquote. Though I'm guessing it was just like an actual accident with their time goop. Turned him into a kid, destroyed the harvest, probably killed our dad, but our dad might still exist somewhere, but he's probably dead because he has a grave. And he probably roped, I've already forgotten his name, our Russian pharmacist, into researching the goo to fix what went wrong. I think it was an accident. Nuncreed, thank you. Yeah. He roped Nuncreed into being like, you have to help me. I'll pay you handsomely. You got to research this goo and turn it into something that can turn me back. And I think that now we're seeing the results of all of that. Is there no centralized government? Yeah, they are the government in this town, unfortunately. It's, what did they say? Disincorporated or something? Which means that it's basically like a privately owned town, which is really messed up. Unincorporated, yeah. Are you saying William Kerr was never in charge of Perennial Harvest? Huh. You think that puffed up blatherskite could have accomplished all of this? Dawn, I suppose it's time for your big exclusive.
Sharper addressed the crowd with indignant pride. He'd planned this moment for so long that now, at the deed's fruition, it almost felt frivolous.
You see, I needed a figurehead to hold things down while I orchestrated my return. Someone to misdirect, lie, and bilk this town for a spell. So I invented William Kerr. Take your bow, you've earned it.
Mr. Kerr flourished a preposterously elaborate bow.
Patrick C. Montesquieu, thespian extraordinaire at your service. We saw his book in the library. Founder, I just want to thank you again for this opportunity. It truly was the role of a lifetime.
Wait, so this Bill Kerr was Pat C the whole time? Now that your secret's out in the open, what's to stop this town from rising up against you?
Oh, that's the delicious part. Fear. Thanks to our clipboards, I know what each and every person in this town fears most. And I will make those fears manifest for anyone who steps out of line. The choice is simple.
I'm not afraid of you.
The young hero. I've kept a keen eye on you, boy. You and your friends made a habit of disrupting my plans. What a pity. If things would have gone a bit differently, you might have had your moment of triumph. But that's fate for you.
You can't do this.
Oh, but I can. I have won. Never underestimate what a great man can do given time. And now time is my plaything. Perhaps the most expensive thing I've ever bought, but well worth it.
Sharper coughed up one final laugh and cracked his knuckles.
Enough chit-chat. Let's get to work, shall we?
And so, Sharper set about remaking the town in his own image. The fertilizer factory soon reopened for business. Sales rose steadily as more and more farmers across the countryside began to swear by its miraculous properties. Beacon Pines became famous, a secretive town that, for the right price, shared its gifts with all. Gifts that became more and more necessary in a world where winters grew longer and longer.
Interesting.
The end.
Interesting.
This is wrong, but things are becoming clearer now. You can feel it, right? We can't let Sharper win. He might just be the key to this whole thing. Let's see.
Okay, well, we will explore that next time. They could leave. Yeah, I guess. But if the thing is, though, is that everyone's struggling, so they probably can't afford to. Like, where would they go? How could... I don't know. I feel like he does have a bit of a... Yeah, this is their home. And also the whole town has been hit by like a wave of destitution and poverty ever since the Foul Harvest. So he's kind of got them in a stranglehold. It's not that easy to just pack up your whole life and leave. But yeah, we will hopefully hit a happier ending next time. Because we'll be playing this again next week. All right, let me get some music going. We'll say goodnight. I'll let you know when you can find me next. Normally we do stream for a bit longer, but because this is a reading / voice acting heavy stream, cutting it just a little bit short. All right. And also, if I'm ending it this early, that means I can order a pizza. So I'm going to order a pizza. Haven't done that in a while. All right, let's roll those credits. Good night, Golden. All right, thank you all so much for being here, hanging out and watching. Shout out to all of our mods for doing all the mod things. Special thanks to all of our supporters over on Ko-fi. Oh, Brie Awo. Thank you so much for the one. Oh, Bunny Fiend must have gifted that sub to Brie Awo. Thank you so much. Pizza, heck yes. We're gonna get Firehouse subs. I don't think I've ever had those before, but I hope they're good. All right, we're gonna be off tomorrow, Sunday and Monday. We're gonna be back on Tuesday, and I'm very excited to let you all know we're gonna be playing the Slime Rancher 2 early access. I was debating, I was thinking like we were probably gonna play Death's Door because I've been sitting on that for a while. I got gifted that by one of my viewers, I think it was Upper Casserole, a while ago. And I've been sitting on playing it. I'm like, well, I guess it's about time. And then I got an email and they're like, hey, here's the key to Slime Rancher 2. And I'm like, oh no, I have to play it now. So if you liked the original Slime Rancher, come hang out on Tuesday because we're going to play Slime Rancher 2 early access. Wednesday, we're going to be doing art. Thursday's more Stardew, so it's a lot of like farmy, crafty stuff this week. And then Friday should be the thrilling conclusion of Beacon Pines. I'm pretty sure it's roughly a 12-hour game, so we should be able to finish it next week. I know this game's so good, Ori. I'm having such a great time playing it. If you're new here, be sure to hit that follow button. You can also hit the bell next to the heart and get notifications right here on Twitch whenever I go live. If you like notifications, join the Discord or follow me on Twitter. I always tweet and post whenever I go live. Also, we do sometimes do hangout stuff on Discord, though not so much lately, but it will be coming back. If you're looking for places off of Twitch to support my content, I have a Ko-fi, it's my tip jar. I have Patreon for all my art stuff. I have a store for art prints and merch. I'm a Humble partner. I'm a Clip Studio partner. There's loads of ways to support my content. And with that, we're gonna find someone to raid. Who are we raiding into? Who's live? Where am I sending you? Let's find out. I don't know. There's not a lot of games that are like the right vibe. At least not on my follow list. You know what though? Trooper is streaming Tales from the Foxhole: The Zone, and apparently it is a horror role-playing experience. That could be a good fit. So maybe we'll just raid into Trooper and you can all hang out for TTRPGs. Zet's live? I don't know who Zet is. Is that... Hold on. Let me go through. I don't always check out the people who have originally rated me, but I definitely should. Was that one of the people who rated me? Is that how you found my stream? Because if so, we could head over there. Is that Wilder? Alright, hold on, let me see. I had to scroll through my events. Let me check out their stream, see what they're up to. Because yeah, it would be good to sort of like pay it back. They are playing Stardew. Yeah, that'll be a good fit. Let's do it. I wonder if it was a random raid. I don't know. I feel like maybe we both know someone else. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it was a random raid or if it was like maybe, because I feel like I remember some people from Dell's community also being along for that raid. Maybe. Either way, we're gonna head on over to Zetwilder, who raided us a while back, brought Cerrone into the community, and is playing Stardew, which we are also doing, so let's do it. As always, thank you all so much for hanging out and watching, being here. Have a great night, have a great weekend, and I will see you all again really soon.